The KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm in a good mood. Zepp, you're in a good mood.
Yeah, I'm in
Tony's
a good mood.
in a good mood.
Hell yeah.
Shannon's in a good mood. We're all in a good mood. And by the way, let me just go ahead and say it right now. I can't wait for Game 7. I will enjoy the game without that annoying pretense of pretending to know anything about basketball in the year 2024.
I don't even know what game they're playing anymore.
2 nights ago, I would have come in to the show yesterday and said all this stuff about veteran team on the road, but young team with their backs against the wall, and I would have just been in all my basketball verbiage. But I said, no, you know what? I woke up and my first thought was, Denver's going to close. They're champions. They're going to put they're going to put their boot on the neck of the Timberwolves, and it's going to be over. And so that's what I said, and that's what I believed. And about 5 minutes into the game last night, I went, oh, okay. I guess not. As soon as the Timberwolves turned on the switch, 3 or 4 minutes into the game, it was over. This has been a series of just massive blowouts.
People wonder why I wonder why people think, these championship games are all fixed. These series are fixed. I'm starting to come around on that idea.
Nah, I'll die on the hill that's crazy. But
right.
I get the impulse. I mean, I see it because you're like, what in the world could make a team so? How can you go A and B, black and white, yin and yang so quickly in the course of a series? Well, that's team sports. It speaks to the fact that it's all about mojo.
I've never played team sports.
No, it's vibe, and you have to have every piece of the puzzle lined up. Mm-hmm. And when you have, in Denver's case, first 2 games, Jamal Murray wasn't himself. They got destroyed. Yeah. We came back home, young team, pressure, family, friends, everybody's in your grill telling you you're great.
Right.
And as soon as you come out and show any arrogance, you get destroyed.
Okay.
I mean, there's a million little things. This is not that unusual in playoff basketball. It would be unusual, and this is the one thing that's interesting, it would be unusual if Game 7 isn't a nail-biter. In series like this, traditionally,
very true.
And traditionally, you got 2 teams who come out and now there's no secondary level of there's always another game. There's always this is it, win or go home, and both teams will at least come out. Yeah. But I do worry though. But based on what we've just seen, I'm like, it'll be over at halftime. Just don't know which way it's going to go.
Mildly interested. Game 7 on Sunday.
Yes, sir.
Kevin Garnett's birthday. 20 years to the day, the last time the Timberwolves played a Game 7.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. And he had that famous quote.
For Game 7, man. That's it. It's for all the marbles. I'm sitting in the house, I'm loading up the pump. I'm loading up the Uzi. I got a couple of M16, a couple 9s. I got a couple joints with some silencers on them. I'm just loading up clips, a couple grenades. Got a missile launcher with a couple, missiles. I'm ready for war.
He was ready for war.
How'd that game go?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't think they won.
No.
It could have. I know they didn't go much farther if they did.
And it's also the anniversary of SpaghettiOs.
Oh, well, now you have my interest.
Well, then I know what my Game 7 dish will be. I'll celebrate SpaghettiOs sitting on the couch on Sunday.
Yeah, with or without Frank's.
I would make a bold. I'll add Frank's.
Okay.
I would make a bold prediction if the game were on Saturday, but with the 2 days rest, all bets are off. As long as we're talking sports, quickly, check this out. In Louisville, Kentucky, as we speak, at the Valhalla Golf Club, where a massive golf tournament is underway, Scottie Scheffler, who is the number 1 ranked golfer in the world, was just handcuffed and arrested outside the gates of the club less than an hour ago.
I knew he was too squeaky clean.
There's traffic around the course that's backed up, and about 5 a.m. local time, there was a pedestrian fatality in Louisville. So police are on the scene, and they've got it all shut down, and traffic is backed up for miles and miles. The only people allowed near the course are golfers. Scottie Scheffler, who, again, world's number 1 ranked golfer, tried to drive around the traffic, and police were flagging him, going, yo, 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 and he's just like, I'm
Scottie Scheffler.
I've got to get to the course. I have a tee time in 2 hours. Officer stepped in front of his car. Scottie apparently continued to drive on a bit.
Why?
He was pulled from his car. He was cuffed. He was put in a patrol car and driven off. I mean, he was detained and removed.
I feel like everyone's overreacting.
Personal experience with the Louisville Police Department?
Yeah.
Not good.
Really?
The Louisville, Kentucky Police Department, I no need to go into it at great length, but no, that's not where you look if you want to have a conversation and get some clarity.
Why, if an officer stepped in front of your car, would you continue driving?
That's a great question. A great question.
Because he eagled the first hole yesterday, I guess.
You know, what's funny is the I used to say about myself, people would say, what's it like to be famous? And I'd say, I'm only famous within a 3-block radius of any Black Crowes gig.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, as far as like anybody, hey, if I'm walking through the airport, rarely do people, that's what I mean. That's my fame. Clearly, Scottie Scheffler learned the same thing today. You're only famous on the golf course. You have to be literally playing the game of golf with a stick in your hand for anyone to know who the hell you are. Your name's Scottie.
You think
Back
you'd
down.
have a laminate, a sticker they'd put on the window of the car or something like that. But the officer was trying to. It just sounds like everybody sort of lost control of the situation. If an officer steps in front of your car, I don't care if it's life or death. You stop.
Regardless, you stop.
Yeah, you stop.
Regardless of what you think's going on. Stop when a cop tells you to stop.
But then, when it's Scottie Scheffler, I'm like, oh, you're supposed to be here. I don't know that I'm handcuffing him and throwing him on the hood of the car.
Yeah,
but,
I guarantee you this: you're gonna hear a heated Scottie Scheffler drop after the round today. He's either gonna shoot a 61 or an 81. I can't wait to see which one it is.
I don't know how this affects a golfer's psyche. If he was the quarterback going into the AFC Championship here, I'd say, man, he's gonna murder him today. He's got all that adrenaline, but I don't know what the touch game of golf, but yeah, an interesting spin on the PGA Championship.
You know what? A lot of golfers on all levels, they love to put those copper bracelets on.
Yeah.
They say it increases the blood flow. Maybe the bracelets he was wearing in the back of that squad car will do the same thing. Maybe he's going to come out and go, it's crazy. My wrists have never felt more supple.
Wow.
Maybe that's a good benefit.
What a crazy story to interject into the PGA Championship.
No kidding. There are 4 majors in the year. One of them's happening right now, and the top-ranked golfer on the planet, the guy who just went back-to-back at the Masters.
I like they don't
he's in bracelets in the back of a squad car.
I like that they come in the same entrance as everyone else.
I mean, think about this. Scottie Scheffler, how good a golfer is he? He's done something that somehow, amazingly, not even Tiger Woods could do. got cuffed and put in the back of a squad car.
Right.
Tiger Woods driving around drunk. Look at all the nonsense he got into off the course. You know what Scheffler's going to need to do? He's going to need to regroup. He's going to have to calm down. They've pushed back all the tee times because it's a complete mess outside there.
Yeah.
So for international television audiences, it's like, imagine the nightmare, the headache of just going, oh, okay, we've got a situation on the street, so everything's back a few hours. So it's just a complete cacophony down in Louisville right now. You know what might help?
What?
Some nice, steady, easy listening music. Sometimes what the world requires is the perfect playlist. And we've got a local suggestion, actually. Maybe someone in Louisville needs to pay attention to what's going on in St. Paul. I'll explain in a minute. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Friday, May the 17th. We told you a minute ago about a bizarre thing that's happening outside the PGA Championship, the golf course in Louisville, the Valhalla Golf Club. There was a traffic fatality this morning. A pedestrian was hit outside the course around 5 a.m. Yeah. So now police are on the scene. It's, as you might imagine, it's a big deal. Traffic's backed up for miles, and they've had to reroute traffic to get in. Scottie Scheffler, the number 1 ranked golfer in the world.
Yeah. Very controversial figure. I'm thinking of John Daly.
Yeah, no. Scottie Scheffler, a bowl of vanilla ice cream in human form, drove up to the course, was asked, there were police on scene, like, telling him to stop, and he just drove around them like, I'm Scottie Scheffler. I got to get to the course, guys. I'm not part of normal traffic.
Right.
Now it's coming out. It's raining, so the cops were all wearing yellow, like, slickers. They're all covered up in rain gear. He just assumed it was a bunch of Paul Blarts out there, apparently. A bunch of mall cops directing traffic. And because he's a golfer who woke up early, had his egg white omelet and turkey slices and a foot rub, he doesn't watch the news. He doesn't know there was a fatality. Yeah. He tries to bust around it. Long story short, they pull him over. He's handcuffed and driven away in the back of a squad car. The number 1 golfer on earth.
I would love to know what happened because in the getting out of the car, okay, so you've gone around the cops. They're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. They get you stopped. And now you're in handcuffs. Mm-hmm. So they just, drug him out of the car, tased him? I
guess so.
Clipped him?
Don't know about the tasing.
Did he go with do you know who I am?
He had to have. He had to have said, I'm I'm playing at Valhalla.
Yeah.
I'm Scottie Scheffler. I just won the Masters last month. Clearly not of interest to the Louisville Police Department.
I guess not.
But you made the point. You're like, dude's just trying to get backstage. The first gig I ever played like in an arena, my first big tour in 1990 was opening for Aerosmith.
Mm-hmm.
The first night of the tour, Stabler Arena, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. And we pull up, first day ever on a tour bus. I mean, it was a big day, very memorable day for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, you bet.
We walk in, get situated. I walk back out to the bus to grab something. And as I'm going back from the bus to the arena, and I got my laminate, I'm like, man, I got a laminate. It says Aerosmith on it. I can come and go to the one. I get to the back. I get to the stage door, and there's 2 security guards in their yellow T-shirts, and they are detaining and refusing to allow into the building Joe Perry.
Never heard of him.
And I'm like, hey, there's Joe Perry. And hey, those 2 big, giant security guards aren't letting him in. And he's standing there going, I'm into band. Come on, I'm into band.
Wait a second. Did he have a shirt on? Because if he had a shirt on, they may not have recognized him.
He had a shirt on, but
Okay.
it was unbuttoned. And I walked up and I looked at him, and we've not met. He just sees a dude with long hair. But I go, and I have a laminate. I go, hey, and I know I can.
He's with me.
I can have a guest. I said, hey, I'll vouch for him. And he just kind of looked at me. I looked at the screen. I go, he's in Aerosmith.
What did they?
And they both go, well, then he should have a pass. And I'm like, oh, for the love of God. And I walk him in on my laminate. And I'm thinking, we're buds now. I go, hey, Joe, I'm Steve. I'm drummer in Black Rose. He goes, yeah, thanks. And he was so pissed.
Well, yeah.
He came over later and actually was like, hey, thanks. But at the time, he was just seeing red.
Well,
What they
why
would have
would
done if you wouldn't have been able to get in?
Did they hire the?
It was just a matter of time till someone on his own, somebody would have found it. You know, there's probably 30 seconds away from someone going, hey, where's Joe?
Yeah.
But still, it was the point.
It's not 1972. Did they hire the security team from the orchestra hall? I have no idea who that. I mean, who doesn't freaking know Joe
in
Perry?
1990 especially. Pump and is
They're
like
on the
everywhere
freaking
you
tour.
go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all right.
Anyway, but to your point, great abs, Joe. Way to keep that together. My God.
Still doing it. Him and Iggy Pop.
I said before the break, you know, if there's a problem in Louisville, if Scottie Scheffler himself has to calm down because now he's literally he's in police custody. He's supposed to tee off in a couple hours, and he's either gonna destroy the course or destroy the course, one way or the other.
Right.
I would recommend he take a tip from our friends over in St. Paul. I say over; it's right, literally 50 feet away. Take a tip from some St. Paul residents who have spent let's see, overnight Tuesday into Wednesday, and then again Wednesday into Thursday. This was the sound on the streets of St. Paul. Do we have this available?
Oh yeah.
It's so freaking loud.
All right, here we go.
It's opera.
This guy is probably a mile away from this noise.
Someone's blasting
You think it's annoying?
opera music.
This is all summer long.
I have no idea to this day what those 2 Italian ladies were singing about.
That's right.
Truth is, I don't want to know. Some things are best left unsaid.
Maybe there was a prison break over in St. Paul.
You just heard Melvin Carter, the mayor of St. Paul. Oh, no, sorry. That was Morgan Freeman from Shawshank Redemption. So someone's just blasting loud classical and opera.
From their house.
Well, that's what we were thinking.
Don't know.
People, it's the Midway neighborhood. We're just trying to figure out the source. It did turn out to be a pretty bizarre source of this music. The music was coming. There's a security feature at an old Herberger's store.
Herberger's?
Herberger's.
What about his? It's an anti-loitering device. So they have like a speaker system. It's an anti-loitering device that plays music. I mean, I know that if I'm loitering and you put on opera, I'm going to sit down.
Right.
I'm going to be like, I'll kick back and listen to that. Officers finally determined. They finally determined the source. They were not able to turn it off. And they said people need to make a complaint with the owner of the building since it is private property, or or the St. Paul Department of Safety and Inspections to see if there's a way to get the music turned off or down. That was an email from yesterday afternoon. I
didn't
believe
know that
worked.
Herbergers were open anymore. I thought they all went teed up, but I know another company bought them. Are they still open?
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
I think they said it's a former Herberger's building.
the security system still works.
Man,
crazy.
That's a good security system.
Someone trying to get in there and get a winter coat or something out of the old.
The first time I ever saw a Hummer in 1989, a Hummer in a parking lot outside of a record store. I walked up to it to look at it, just kind of laughing at it's just so big and silly looking, and it had a security system. And I literally, as I approached, it said, "You are too close to this vehicle." Literally, the car started talking to me.
A turret comes out of the top,
and it said,
RoboCop.
"You need to step back 10 feet." And I just stood there. I was with one of the guys in my band, and we were laughing like, "This is, you can't be serious."
So obnoxious.
And then it said, "In 10 seconds, the alarm will go off." And we're like, "Sweet, we got nothing to do." And we waited, and that thing just, "Boo, boo, boo." It went off so loud, and we just walked away, and it was just in a parking lot going crazy. Like, what? Seriously? Relax.
Your move, creep.
That's what it was.
Come quietly, or there will be trouble.
RoboCop.
Man, that. God, RoboCop was lit. So that's as the kids would say. That thing was everywhere. Speaking of lit, this is a story from upstate New York. A guy in Middletown, New York, was arrested and charged with arson because he set fire to a house. Interestingly enough, there's a connection. Going back to December of 23, this guy, a guy named Tyler Williams, he was pulled over by a state trooper. Traffic violations. He was driving in town, but a trooper saw him do, a few things wrong, pulled him over, gave him a ticket.
That happens.
He was ticketed. He then got on various websites. During a 5-month investigation, it was determined to determine the address of this state trooper.
Oh, psycho!
Bad move.
Yeah.
First move is a bad one. Don't even search it once.
It's a traffic ticket, man.
It's a traffic ticket. He found He found the state trooper's father's address, and that's the house he burned down.
Holy psychopath. Well, you turned a traffic ticket into about 10 to 15 years.
Oh, that's a legit stint in the joint.
Yeah, you going in, man. What in God? I mean, you had time to think about it. I could see in the moment saying something like, "Don't lecture me, son. Just give me a ticket," like your dad did,
sure.
Shooting your mouth off a little bit. Maybe even you got out of the car and did something stupid like tried to run or, assault a cop. That's dumb. That's in the heat of the moment. He had time to think about a traffic ticket, and his response was, "I'll burn this cop's father's house down."
Hey, the other day on the show, there was a story that led me to think about poisonings. There was something we didn't even go into it. There was a story we were looking at.
If I could poison something.
Oh, you know what it was? A woman put bleach in her husband's coffee. We didn't even get around to talking about it.
Yeah,
but I looked at that, and as we do when we're discussing stories, you're looking for a different angle, something interesting. And I Googled most common types of poison, household poisonings.
That's going to show up in your search history.
And as it opened up, I went, well, I sure better not poison my wife anytime soon. The first thing I thought was, that's in my laptop forever. That's in my cloud or whatever. Yeah. And like 7 years from now, my wife will accidentally in the middle of the night grab the wrong pill. She'll have a reaction like, he searched poisons in 2024. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Googling a state trooper's name and trying to find his address several times. Yeah, you're not going to get out of that one, Chief.
Well, I mean, this guy was going to jail one way or the other. There are just some people that are fated to it, that are destined to it, and the traffic stop was just the first domino. He was headed to the clink. Thank God. But he didn't kill anyone, right? Dad didn't go down on the
did
clink.
Leave the home uninhabitable.
All right. Put him in. Lock him up, throw away the key.
That's how that works.
Yeah, that's how that works.
And maybe one day, if he's lucky, someone will put some opera on over the prison system while he's serving time.
Tunneling out.
It's Friday. Speaking of Shawshank Redemption, we've got Movie Review Friday from Mike Evans. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talkin' text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
What were you talking about?
It is Friday, May the 17th. And
Shannon's losing her mind.
We're just so fascinated by this story on a Friday morning out of Louisville. I'm watching footage of world number 1 ranked golfer Scottie Scheffler being detained because, of course, now the iPhone footage is everywhere. Anyway, before we get back to that insanity, let's go west. It's the Mike Evans Hollywood Report.
Hey, good morning, Steve. Good morning, Minneapolis. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Aloha Friday, and it is Movie Review Friday. And if you're going to the movies, there's only one place to go, Marcus Theaters. Don't forget Tuesday, $6 for any movie. Marcus Theaters, with their great seats, their great food, concessions, they are the best theater chain in America. Well, it is Movie Review Friday, and IF stands for Imaginary Friends. Opened yesterday with big numbers. It is directed by John Krasinski and voices supplied by a lot of stars, including Emily Blunt and Sam Rockwell, Steve Carell, Matt Damon, and others. The little girl who is one of the main stars, Kaylee Fleming, is great. She plays along with Ryan Reynolds as the two of them interact with our favorite cartoon characters. Look, the animation, the dialogue, the story, it plays to kids. It's a kids' movie, pure and simple. Rated PG, 100 minutes, and a very rare split rating. For kids, 4 stars. For adults, 2 stars. Next, after a limited run, Back is Black is back. The honest, straightforward biography of Amy Winehouse from adolescence to adulthood that ended tragically at the age of 27. Boy, it's a sad love story mixed with drugs and booze, a calamity throughout. It is rated R. Rated R. It's 2 hours long, and I'm going to give it 3 stars. And don't forget Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Boy, you got to see that. It's still playing at all the Marcus Theaters, and it is 4 stars. Oh, final movie nugget. Steve, this is a weird one. So there's the Con, the South by Southwest, the Sundance, the Palm Springs, the Toronto, all these great film festivals. But never could imagine that there would be a San Quentin Film Festival. But on October 10th, 2024, Hollywood's going to bring a bunch of movies to show the inmates at San Quentin. Why? I have no idea. Unbelievable. Show business, there seems to be more and more new packaging of streaming services every week. And the latest is called Venue, with Fox, Walt Disney, Warner Brothers, all having equal ownership. They will also air ESPN channels, ABC, Fox Sports Programming, the Discovery Channel, TNT, True TV, and TBS. Speaking of streaming services, man, Netflix is really getting into sports. They have just green-lighted documentaries on Simone Biles and Dallas Cowboy owner Jerry Jones. They're already have announced that they are producing the Happy Gilmore 2 movie with Adam Sandler. Remember, just yesterday I told you about Netflix producing the Will Ferrell sports comedy series called Golf. And I hear Netflix is quietly in constant meetings with the NFL, Major League Baseball, and NASCAR. And I am on it. The rumor floating around that Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez have broken up. I have some real inside sources. I'll be working on it all weekend, and we'll have the scoop for you on Monday. Till then, it's Aloha Friday. No work till Monday. We're going to play today Aloha Friday. Have a great weekend. Lily Yokalani, Lani Ana Yoke, Coo in a cock and ock. Hooey, 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 ho.
Aloha.
All right, one more time.
I'll be working on it all weekend, and we'll have the scoop for you on Monday. Till then.
All right. You know what?
Encore.
As we look forward to Monday's Bennifer update, let's look back while we ready ourselves. On this day, it's May 17th, 1998, the boomer David Wells of the New York Yankees faced the Minnesota Twins at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, 27 up, 27 down. It was a perfect game for David Wells, who told Bryant Gumbel 3 years later, I was dealing with a raging, skull-rattling hangover. That's the key to ball control.
Yeah.
Just get out there and drink a few the night before.
Well, he tried to replicate that, because you'd have to. And you're a baseball player. You're the most superstitious of all athletes.
I met him once. He came to a Black Crowes gig, and he had a hangover the next day, I promise you. The boomer wasn't getting cheated at the bar.
All right.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Happy Friday morning. It is May 17th. A few things going on in the world of note today. This just in from Louisville, Kentucky. The Louisville Police Department have come up with a great way to keep Scottie Scheffler from winning a major. The guy's the number one ranked golfer in the world for a few years. He's unstoppable in the big tournaments, and the PGA is going on in Louisville, so they arrested him this morning.
He's unstoppable behind the wheel.
Apparently so. A bizarre situation outside the Valhalla, we are coming. Outside Valhalla Golf Course in Louisville, there was a traffic incident, a pedestrian fatality early in the morning. Police showed up. Long story short, Scottie Scheffler thought he could avoid the line of traffic to enter the grounds of the golf course. He's the number one ranked golfer in the world. The police on the scene, however, have no idea who he is. They got him to pull over. He kept going. They then got him out of his car. They handcuffed him. They took him away. Again, it's just crazy. This is someone on Twitter said, this is like shooting Derek Jeter in the tunnel before Game 7 of the World Series. I mean, it's not quite that bad, but it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. You shouldn't be allowed to even, approach professional athletes when they're playing in a big tournament. I mean,
another great tweet. My son just woke up to this video, and now he thinks it's cool to run over police officers like his hero, Scottie Scheffler. Okay, so we're getting a lot of good takes. But we'll update you as it goes. But it's just a really bizarre story that's happening right now in Louisville, Kentucky. Everybody down there needs to take a deep breath. The lesson, as always, don't run over a cop. Don't go past a cop if he says pull your car over. If you're a cop, don't put on a yellow rain slicker that makes you look like a mall cop.
Hey, well, somebody said
be a
here,
cop.
I see someone here said it does say police on the front and the back of the slicker, but Valhalla? I think you think an awful lot of your golf course, don't you? Valhalla?
You should see that place, man.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is it a beaut?
Oh, I've never played it, but I've seen it. Whoo, baby. So anyway, we'll keep you up to date on that. The PGA Championship, this is a guy who came out yesterday and started his round with an eagle on number 1. It's totally insane. So, there's a lot of different ways. We all know each other. You know your friends. You know your family. You know the people you love. And there's that old adage, well, can you ever really know someone?
Nope.
The answer is no. Unless, of course, you're a bartender. Then you know all about people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny. I was always amazed at Dr. Phil's success. I mean, there's bartenders. What do we need Dr. Phil for?
Right. That's my Dr. Phil, my bartender.
They know everything. There was a recent Reddit thread. Bartenders were all discussing what they know about you based on what you drink. There was a bunch of general assessments. And at a cursory glance, a lot of these ring pretty true. Okay?
I'm excited.
Based on what you order,
right.
Bartenders say, yeah, we got you figured out. The same way, flight attendants know who the travelers are. They know who the winers are. That you always see these lists. First drink up. If you order a tequila on the rocks with lime, you're a wild party person, and you love to tell stories about what tequila has made you do.
Yeah.
I did it last week. I talked about the first time I did some shots of tequila, then I went into how it made me want to fight, and now suddenly I'm telling tequila stories.
Yeah, no, it does. I mean, tequila is I have some very notorious memories from tequila drunks.
And you have talked about them.
Can't do it.
It's a personality enhancer.
Is that what it is?
Brings out the true you.
If you order absinthe, okay, first of all, if you're getting absinthe, it's not real absinthe from the 19th century. That's called ayahuasca now, I believe. But if you order an absinthe, a bartender says, I'm going to assume you have at least 5 leather-bound books from the 1800s and maybe 3 friends.
Yes, right.
That's exactly right. You order absinthe, hoping the person next to you will go, what's absinthe?
Yeah, you're looking for the other weirdo in the bar.
Yeah, and then you can just bore them to death right there while they're like, oh my God, why did I open my mouth? Well, it's a highly alcoholic spirit. It's traditionally naturally green, but absinthe of the modern age is, you can just hear, it's like Cliff Clavin, the mailman from Cheers. That's who orders absinthe. It's not really a liqueur, actually. It's bottled with sugar sweeteners. It's yeah, you can only imagine. A Swiss doctor in 1797 invented it, and he tripped balls for 6 days. If you get a gin and a tonic with a cucumber, never heard of that one. Cucumber garnish and a gin and tonic?
Sounds good.
Keeping it fresh,
I can see
guess.
it, yeah. So they say you're a housewife and your husband didn't notice your new fancy shoes, which made you upset at first, but then you realized it doesn't matter because you're probably having an affair with the pool boy. Wow.
That's very specific.
That's the country club set right there.
Yeah,
That's why
it
I've
is.
never had a gin and tonic with a cucumber. I'm not a country club guy. Man, I got to try. You know what? See, that's the thing. Order a gin and tonic with a cucumber and just watch the country club ladies flock to your table.
Well, I get, but it says
It's worth a test.
Aren't you the country club lady if you're drinking the gin and tonic?
Oh, that's right.
with
You're the
cucumber?
lady. Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
they're looking for the dude drinking absinthe.
That's exactly who they're looking for. They just want someone who's just going to talk and talk and talk and not pay attention to the fact that they're shagging the pool boy. You're exactly right. The guy who orders a Jack and Coke, the survey says, just waiting for a good fight in a couple of hours. Yep, that checks out. That
Working on a hangover.
Yeah, that completely checks out. Everybody has in the same way that everybody has a Led Zeppelin phase in life.
Yeah.
Everybody. At some point, doesn't matter what other music you like, at some point, especially guys, you're 14, 15, 16, maybe as late as 21, but no later than 25. All of a sudden, you're literally going to go, oh my God, what is happening to me? Why am I listening to Misty Mountain Hop 4 times in a row? And then suddenly the Led Zeppelin wave hits you. You can't control it.
Yeah.
I always say, people, just give into it. It'll either pass or it won't, but just don't fight it, right?
Then you have to ask a lot of your friends, have you heard Led Zeppelin?
Yeah.
Have you really listened?
I watched my 23-year-old son and his friends all go through it.
Yeah.
Junior year of high school, all of a sudden, all these guys are like, oh my God. Like Zeppelin hits the same way. Doesn't matter what year it is. The same way Jack and Cokes do.
Yep.
Everybody has a Jack and Coke moment or minute or month or year. I do wonder about the people that stay with it well into adulthood. That I did. I'm thinking of one guy.
Yeah. It's which guy?
Well, his name's Grant, and he is still a Jack and Coke guy. And I'm like, really? Still?
It's just steady Eddie, It's those guys that stick with the same beer. They're still out there drinking whatever from Anheuser-Busch or your Miller beers. They dig
I guess
them.
so. I guess
but there's so many other beers out there, but they're not changing. No. I'll just have my whatever light, and I'm sticking with that. Really, you sure you won't try? Because this one is got like 8% alcohol. It's got a nice malty flavor. No. I'm just going to drink myself. That's Jack and Coke. Mine was the 20s, yeah. But in South Dakota, that's all you could get. You dare not ask for more. I remember getting to Minneapolis, and I was out on a date, and she said, I'm going to have a Manhattan. I'm like, I don't know what that's exciting. I just thought they only ordered those in movies.
Asks for more?
Yes. And I got an old-fashioned or something, and I thought, I'm high-tone. This is fantastic.
Yeah,
but in South Dakota, if you ask for a Manhattan, they give you a Jack and Coke.
Is that true?
That's true.
That's fantastic.
You see the wood paneling on the bar. There'll be no.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, they'd roll their eyes and they'd pull this dusty old book out from under the bar and blow it off and open it up and go, Manhattan, let's see. Well, we don't have half this crap.
I remember hearing about and ordering before I knew what it was because I loved the name. One time I said, I'll have a highball. I just thought, what a cool name for a drink.
They just gave you a glass.
It was like 22. Give me a highball. And it's like, it was like basically, it's like whiskey with soda water.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was. I was like, well, huh?
Yeah.
I wanted there to be like some, I don't know, some weird added, bitters or tonic, or or like a liqueur. There's all those. What is it in Manhattan? They had there's always those other things that are just added.
I'm not a real Manhattan drinker, so I couldn't.
I don't know.
I couldn't break it down for you. I think there's a couple of. I remember sitting, going over on a hunting trip, and the guy's lodge is like, I make Manhattans. I'm like, I'll have one. I had like 4 and got really ripped.
Yeah, that's a serious drink.
Yeah, I didn't get out of bed in the morning in time for hunting, but yeah, it is a serious drink. I do remember also being on a date the first time I thought I'd be sophisticated and ordered a martini. The very first time I ever ordered a martini. Yeah. And the bartender said, how would you like that?
Martini?
In a glass.
Martini.
Wet.
I don't, just however you like to make it. In other words, I totally embarrassed myself. She's like, have you ever? No, I don't. I just thought it was a martini. I didn't know there was dry, up, rocks, dirty.
What's the martini line? 2's not enough and 3's too many?
Yeah, that was it.
Living
one is just
proof right here.
One is just right. Three or one is just right. Two is too many.
And
three is not enough.
That's it.
Right,
That's what it is.
Now you're going for broke. You're going for party until the paper comes.
I was at an O'Charlie's when I was a college student for some reason, drinking martinis. And I was drinking martinis sitting at the bar at an O'Charlie's. And there was the bartender has his little bins of stuff. And there was the little tray.
Yeah.
And all the olives in front of me. And I was like, every time he turned his back, I'd grab another olive. And so not only did I drink I mean, honest to God, 5 martinis at a time when one was more than enough.
Yeah.
I ate all the olives too, and when I got back to my place, and then I revisited all those martinis and olives. That's when I learned the true glory that is, don't drink martinis, Steve. You're not old enough to handle this.
Hello, old friend.
I was just hurling and an olive martini hurl is something you don't forget.
Yeah, that lingers, doesn't it?
Oh, it really, really lingers. In fact, back to our list, one bartender said, I assume that anyone who orders a martini is a high-functioning alcoholic.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Here's what I found about
nonsense.
vodka. Whiskey, tequila, a little will send me into a manic state. Whiskey, I have to get after it a little bit. I have to get a good whiskey drunk going, but also fist of fury. Now I'm looking around the bar, and now I'm pissed off, and I don't know why. Yeah, whiskey will get it going for me, but I can have a few more of those. Vodka, I could drink the whole bottle.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to be puking and sick and whatever, but I don't get angry.
But you don't get angry.
Just as happy-go-lucky as can be. And I'm like, really? Vodka? I'm not really that into vodka now.
Yeah.
Of course, there's some good vodkas out there, and you can whip up a damn good martini. But
let's
if
top
I'm
off
looking to get
Zep's OJ with a little hit.
I already did. Yeah.
If you order a Long Island iced tea, Long Island ass tea. Well, that's what it should be called. They should change the name to Long Island assed tea.
Yep.
I got asked on Long Island iced tea last night. International lingo for I'm just here to get effed up.
Yep.
Very true.
Yep.
That is what that exists for. No one. I mean, think about being at a business dinner. You're meeting people, you're new in town, and anybody, I'll have a glass of the Cabernet. Do you have any IPAs? I'd like a Long Island iced tea, please. It just doesn't ever happen.
No, but I did like to do that. Also on dates, just order a Long Island iced tea and just set the tone. They just look at you and they got anybody.
It's what they do. The KQ Talk and Text line, 651-989-ROCK. Feel free to weigh in via text or with a phone call. Tony, who's on the horn?
Lovely Dee Dee from Faribault has some cocktail advice for you, Z.
Dee Dee, good morning.
Good morning. It's a great time to talk about cocktails. It's Friday.
That's exactly right, dear. What have you got for us?
Well, Zep, here's my advice to you. If you get yourself backed into a corner doing a martini order like that,
Yeah.
Your response could be, you know what? Surprise me. I like them always.
Hey.
There's a martini.
Surprise me.
Yeah, exactly. There isn't a martini I won't drink. What do you got for me? Give me your special. Well, now I'm 30 years into ordering martinis. I know exactly what I'm in the mood for, but I do like that, Dee Dee. I might just use that for drinks in general. What do you have? I don't know. Surprise me. What do you got? And see what the bartender cooks up. It might be something very evil. In fact, that's what I'm going to do this weekend. I'm going out this weekend, and that's what when they say, yep, can I help you? What do you need? I'm just going to say, what do you got?
Dealer's choice.
Bartender's choice, yeah.
I'll bring you soup.
I love it. That sounds unpredictable, and it sounds dangerous.
What do you? Is that what you do, Dee Dee, or do you have a specific martini order you go with?
Well, I actually like the gin and tonic with cucumbers, but
How's the pool boy?
Hold on. How's your short game?
don't tell my husband about the pool boy.
No.
No. Now, your secret's safe with us, Dee Dee.
I
Thanks
like
for the call. We really appreciate it.
Dee Dee's fun.
Have a great weekend.
Yeah.
You too. That's great. On the text line, someone texted in, still doing the Mickey's Big Mouth.
Oh, the Mickey's Big Mouth.
Another brief interlude in most people's lives. Mickey's Big Mouth. Let me try a few of those.
Yeah, absolutely. I went through I think a 2-week phase of Mickey's Big Mouths.
Yeah, that's what it was.
They get the job. I'm glad they're still making them out there.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Remember the Schmidt Big Mouth?
Oh, absolutely.
Was there a Schmidt Big Mouth?
I think that was the first Big Mouth that I ever had was the Schmidt.
Wow. I similarly had a 2, maybe 3 week maximum Mickey's Big Mouth sojourn in the spring of '87. And it was just great. And then one day it wasn't. It was just one of those like, oh, I've done that.
Something else caught my. Then it was like a Rolling Rock. Is that what we're doing this week?
I can tell you exactly. I can tell you exactly. I'm not making this up. Mickey's Big Mouth, spring of '87, right when I had moved to Atlanta, and that rolled into, for the first time ever, the Hams days.
Oh yeah,
Hams, the beer refreshing.
Yeah. There was our little Korean grocer on the corner in Candler Park had beers like that. He just had a bunch of beers I'd never seen, and Hams was one of them. And you could get a sixer for like $3 or $2.99. And I was like, the land of sky blue waters? Are you kidding?
I thought it was a bit swillish when I was growing up, but now in the last, I forget when it was, it's, I'll say 10 years ago now, went back, had a Hams in Northeast, and I was like, hey, dang, I like it now a lot. I don't know if my palate got more sophisticated or they just tweaked the brew a little bit over the years.
My palate has gone, my beer thing, I am way back to just keep it simple. You know, I loved all the microbrews, the IPAs. I loved everything blowing up for years. And in the last 10 years, with every passing year, I'm less and less interested in all the hoppy and all, and when PBR became the hipster beer, like every bar in Nashville 15 years ago, it was just all of a sudden this
16-ounce tall boy.
And I was like, oh, come on. And then I remember, I opened one up and I was like, kind of like this Blue Ribbon all of a sudden. And I still like a lot of the more interesting beers, but those are good for 1, maybe 2. But there's times when I need 11, and that's when I go to Hams.
Well, the alcohol content in some of these beers now, you get 3 in you, and you're leaning in the men's bathroom.
I'll give you one more before we hit. Any frozen blended drinks means you're either high maintenance and or on vacation, and you just don't know what else to order.
Daiquiri.
Going to see Tom Petty over at the Excel Energy Center, the Eagle Bar over there. I forget what it is now. But, the Eagle Bar, that's where you go to have your first one. It's packed, of course. Small bar, packed. I'm there on a first date at the Tom Petty Show. We squeeze our way, finally, wiggle up to the bar. I'm having beer me and a shot. And she says, I'll have a daiquiri, or no, not a daiquiri, margarita.
Pina colada.
She's like, can I get a margarita blended? And I laughed. I went, oh, my God, I love you. What a great sense of humor you have. But she didn't laugh. And neither did the bartender, who rolled his eyes. And I said, hey, how about maybe just on the rocks? And she looked at me and she goes, I don't like it on the rocks. And I went, this date's over, but I got to take you to a Tom Petty show now, unfortunately. But you and I are not even going to, I'm not even going to stick around for the after to see if I get lucky. No.
Okay.
A woman ordering the blended margarita, and that's the equivalent.
Before a concert.
You know what that is? That's the 60-minute stopwatch.
Yeah, this is over.
Oh, it's Sunday night.
I contemplated faking diarrhea so I could get out of it, but I wanted to go see the show.
Yeah, you're having a perfectly good Sunday. You're going to go see Tom Petty, and then I got to go to school tomorrow. That's exactly what that feels like. Have you ever been in a situation where someone ordered a drink and you knew exactly who they were? I'm sure we all have a case of that. Let's talk more about what our drinking habits say about us. 651-989-ROCK, the KQ Talk and Text line. Call us, text us. We'll be right back. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Friday, May 17th. We just announced earlier in the show that KQ Karaoke Cruise is back Friday, June 21st. In about a half an hour, we're going to give away some tickets to that bad boy. So stay tuned. We'll give you all the details in just a few moments. We just heard Dude Looks Like a Lady from Aerosmith. So Aerosmith back on the road in the fall after the tour they canceled last year. Steven Tyler blew his throat out. They said he had a broken larynx.
We thought that was the end.
I thought for sure. That just all added up to what actually happened, I wonder. Here's the deal. He just hopped up on stage in London 2 nights ago with my former band, the Black Crows, and they sang Mamakin, the old Aerosmith classic.
Yes.
He sounded pretty good, so I guess he's all right.
They taped it up, and he's okay.
Yeah, that's what they did. They rubbed some dirt on it and said, get back out there, champ.
Made him take a lap around the stage. And, all right.
Oh, yeah.
Back at it, so all right.
Well, there you have it. So hopefully that tour does go. They're going to be here. Aerosmith will be here at some point. I don't have the date in front of me, but they are playing. We've been discussing on the show today what does your drink say about you, according to bartenders, anyway? And some of these are pretty funny. And on the KQ Talk and text line, a lot of comments. Where's the one? I just lost it. It was a question, and I wanted to ask you guys what you thought. It was Amy said, "Morning, everybody. I'm Amy. I want to see what my drink says about me. I go with a Johnny Walker Neat."
Ooh.
I just a badass.
Classy.
You're someone we want to hang out with.
Sophisticated, perhaps. My very first time I ordered a cocktail on a date. I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I just knew some name brands. I said I wanted a Red Label and Coke. I ordered a high-end Scotch and Coke, and the bartender just looked at me and shook his head. He said, "No,
That's
no."
great.
I was humiliated.
Would you like a filet mignon and some ketchup as well?
A fillet mignon.
Oh, fillet
with
mignon.
some Dom Perignon.
Some hors d'oeuvres with that. What do you got there?
Oh, so
my first order
of the day.
My first order of a drink came senior year in high school on my senior trip to Florida, and I had my brother's driver's license. And I sat down at a bar next to my buddy Todd, and Todd said, "I'll have a Busch." And I was like, man, he said that with some authority.
Yeah.
And the bartender looked at me, and I went, the same. and I just felt it, just the shame. I mean, I felt the heat from my head down to my toes.
Yes.
And just a few years ago, the first time I was ever in a bar with my son was when he was going to college, and he was not old enough to drink, but we went in. It wasn't a bar; it was a restaurant. But he goes, "Hey, can I order a beer?" And I looked at him and I was like, "Do you have an ID that says you're 21?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, you can have a beer." Because I'm like, well, he's drinking anyway. And it's the first time we ever had a beer together.
Nice.
And the bartender came over and said, "What do you want?" And I said, "I'll have a Stella." And looked at Connell, he was probably just weird because he was with his parents, but he literally goes, "The same." This exact,
oh,
and I mean,
that's
right.
adorable.
And as soon as he said it, I went. The bartender.
That's my boy.
The guy walked away. I go, "Okay, here's just a tip. Never say that again. Never say, just even if it's the same thing, say the brand. Say, I'll have a Stella." And I told him the whole story, and he goes, "You still remember that?" I go, "Oh, I still remember it, man. You're one shot up there. You don't want the guy to give you a reason to. You don't want to give the guy a reason to question your validity."
Right.
And he mentioned that the other day. He was laughing. He goes, "I told my friends I was with my dad, and I had this whole thing." I'm like, yeah, right on.
You got yourself your first drinking story.
That's it.
Yeah, there'll be more most likely. You said that was a gal that said she likes her Johnny Walker Red Neat.
She said, Johnny Walker. She didn't say red. She just said Johnny Walker.
Oh, Johnny Walker Neat. Yeah, that's a woman I want to strike out with. I'm going to strike out, by the way.
It's inevitable. But.
I'm going to approach her. My friends are like, "Zep, don't. She's way out of your league." No, you watch this. And 2 minutes later, I'll be back, and I'll be happy to... I did it.
I was thinking
she was pretty.
Yeah.
I was thinking that's a woman who I'm going to get really far on first impression, and then disaster will strike. But I'm gonna get 10 minutes of chat with that one. We'll have a good start, and then it'll eventually take its awful turn.
I'm gonna plop down next to her and go, "I'll have a Tom Collins with extra cherries."
Oh, yeah.
Here's a good one: Fireball with soda. Bartender says that makes me think you're under 25. You don't yet know your limit, and you could very well end up throwing up all over the dance floor before the end of the night.
You're gonna puke,
man.
You're gonna puke, and you're not gonna make our golf round in the morning.
I have not yet had Fireball, all the rage, but there's peanut butter whiskey now.
Taylor's into it.
Yeah,
she had me try it.
People I know and people that I don't think are completely insane say no, it's shockingly great. I just can't seem to pull the trigger. I don't drink whiskey all that often, but when I see that peanut butter whiskey, didn't you have a peanut butter whiskey, or am I making that up?
I love peanut butter whiskey.
I thought that. What?
Hot diggity.
I just can't make it happen. There's something about it.
I think I'm just too curmudgeonly. Like the guy that walks into they've got 50 taps at the bar, one of these tap houses, and he goes, "Just give me a Bud Light." Yeah. I'm like, "You sure? There's a whole, look at that one. That one looks like a walleye, that handle. Look at that handle over there. Aren't these, they've got anything you could possibly, you want to try, just, they'll give you a sample if you want, a free sample. Bud Light, I said. Okay. Well, you'll have a Bud Light. But that's, I'm kind of like that when it comes to the booze. I don't like infused flavors in there. I want it to hurt a little.
This was a joint in Nashville that had the
peanut butter
a distillery. Made their own. It was fantastic.
All right. Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe one day. That day has not yet shown itself. KQ talking text line 651-989-ROCK. Tony, who we got?
Amy is on with, she's the Johnny Walker Neat.
Amy,
lass.
what you gonna do? Good morning.
Good morning.
What's happening? What do you got for us?
Oh, nothing. I just want to say it is Johnny Walker Red.
Oh, it is? Okay, clarifying. It is red.
Sophisticated, yeah.
It is red, although I'll take a Buffalo Trace above that.
Oh,
really?
A Buffalo Trace, that's a fine bourbon there as well.
But that's hard to find lately.
Yeah. So do you, is it a nice sipping kind of thing you enjoy, or do you toss it back?
Oh, you don't toss back scotch.
No, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
But give me 2 or 3, and then it's a whole new story.
Off to the races.
That's how that works. Well,
Yeah.
Amy, what you have any big weekend plans, Amy?
No.
Okay.
Probably just sit down and have a Johnny Walker.
I was going to say, if you don't have plans yet, have a Johnny Walker, and a plan will materialize. That's how that works.
Yeah.
Thanks, Amy. We appreciate it.
Definitely.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's an intimidating drink. I should have asked her if she's married, if she's single, if men approach her, if a particular type of guy approaches her. That seems like, you see a woman drinking, something like that neat. It's
you have to smoke a pipe.
I
something.
hadn't really gotten into Scotch ever, and then one time in Scotland, we were in Glasgow, and we were at this really cool hotel where the rooms weren't numbered; they all had names, and they were like, it was a small, like in an old row house, but like what you would now call a boutique hotel, but in the I guess that was what you would have called it then in the mid-90s. But like you check in, and the guy's like, "You sir, you're in McGill." Up the stairs, second left. And you're in McGillicuddy. It was just names. It was cool, really cool place. And the little bar, they didn't have a bar per se. They had a lounge. Like you sat in cool chairs, little tables, fireplace. And the bartender, you never saw liquor. The guy would just bring you your drink on a tray from another room. You'd order what you wanted.
I'm suspicious.
And I was sitting there one night, and the guy came up, and he said, and I was sitting there with my cousin, and I said, just going to fly blind. Why don't you educate me on some scotch? And of course, the guy's like, I'd love to. And he started explaining it. And he walked out, and it was talking about all these different, they have all these scotches you've never heard of here from Scotland, of course. And the guy sat down, and he had a glass, and he was explaining what one ice cube does, what one drop of water does, that whole. And he had a little dropper, and there was one type of scotch. He said, "This is the perfect way to drink it." And he dropped one drop of water, went in, and you watched it shoot through the glass, and it split. And he was like, "And now you wait about 3 minutes," and he had the whole thing, and I'm sipping it, and I was reborn. I was like, "This is my new passion. This is amazing." A month later, I'm sitting at my house. In back home
with your
I buy scotch and I drop one, and I'm just, it's just booze. It didn't.
With a drop of water.
There wasn't a Scottish guy there. There wasn't a fireplace. I wasn't in a room called the McGill. None of it. I was like, it's just hooch.
Yeah, it feels silly at home.
Damn it.
I know.
I thought for a minute I was about to go down. I was going to become a really interesting. Steve's really into scotch. He's got a tremendous. He'll tell you all about it. This drop of water, what one ice cube does.
Well,
didn't really stick.
Yeah, when
savor
in Rome,
the moment.
Exactly. There's something to be said with the ambiance that comes with it, and doing it there in Scotland. And what a perfect setting. But you feel a little pretentious and dumb when you're doing it at home.
Lisa texted. She said, "I don't drink much but red wine, but in the summer I love a Tonka tea. A version of a top shelf Long Island tea. I might even have 2 on the wharf. I hate vodka, gin, tequila, but man, I love those things." Now, remember, the Long Island iced tea, according to the bartenders in this survey, they said that's just international lingo for I'm here to get effed up. That's what that means.
Just a big mix.
Vodka soda with a splash of cranberry juice. You just might as well call that the white girl. Now, I've never had vodka soda with cranberry, but vodka with cranberry, I've had a ton of those.
Does that mean she already has a yeast infection?
It could very well be.
She's just drinking it off.
It could be the UTI, because that's what you need for cranberry. Cranberry will knock that UTI right out.
All right, gotcha.
As I learned from my Mr. Bubble, experience in the late '80s.
I forgot what was in a Long Island: vodka, rum, gin, tequila, triple sec sour, and a lot of sugar.
Party punch.
Yeah,
that is a hangover, you're right, in a fancy glass, in a tall glass.
Anything to drink that doesn't taste like alcohol. You just want to cover it up and cover it up and cover it up. So the summer is upon us. There's a lot of music festivals going on this summer. A survey from the there's a study called Drug Safety at Music Festival Study.
One of these things is not like the other.
87% of festival attendees, people who already have tickets to music festivals this summer, 87% say they plan to take drugs.
Yeah, you're outside. It's all day long.
My question is, what's wrong with the other 13%? What are you doing?
They're liars.
You're designated drivers.
Right.
The most popular drug of choice for summer festivals this summer, marijuana, 65%. Second most popular drug, and this is a shocker to me, cocaine.
Really? At a festival?
Yeah, that is a surprise.
I don't know if I want to be going that fast at a festival. I want to slow things down.
You just really don't hear about cocaine very much.
Is X a thing anymore?
Well, it's a thing, I'm sure. I don't travel in those circles anymore. I don't know. I don't know what the kids are doing out there, but Molly or something like that.
I got two college-age kids. I got a 23 and a 21-year-old, and neither one of them is like, cocaine's not a part of they don't hear about it, see it, their friends don't. I mean, they both have said like they know one person.
Yeah,
that has even done it. But it's just in their worlds, it's just not there.
Yeah,
weed is everywhere. Weed is everywhere, and
shrooms is very hot right now.
Shrooms. They just don't grow away.
No.
I mean, something that grows under cow crap ain't going far. It's always going to be there.
I always thought that was a good festival. Give me Harriet Island and a couple of caps, and we're going to have a good time today.
See, here's the problem, though. 3 out of the 5 people who said they're going to be doing drugs at festivals say they plan to purchase their drugs at the festival.
No,
that's bad move
no.
number 1 right there.
No. And if anyone offers you free drugs at a festival, don't take them.
No, not cool at all. Yeah. No, just look around every festival you go to. Just like look, they're sleeping in tents.
Yep.
You're just basically. It's like
they cooked it up in a tent.
Yeah.
Yeah. They probably from their dried urine, it's a bad meth recipe. Don't do it. They do. I don't know. Somebody said something. Yeah, what I do is I do a lot of drugs, and then I take my urine and I just set it out in the sun, and after it evaporates, the residue that's left over, I snort that. It gets me really high. I'm like, okay, it's all yours.
I've never been a festival guy. I just the idea of being in a big field in the summer with 80,000 other people. It's not my vibe.
Well, you've been
at
up
all.
on the stage. I've seen the videos. Yeah.
No, I mean, Bonnaroo is a huge one in Tennessee.
Yes, it is.
I've been there. I've only been there when I played it, and my thing was, okay, I'm going to drive in. I need to have parking. I'm going to drive in, get out, play, and leave. To me, 80,000 high people in a field is just something's going to go wrong. I just don't want to be there for it.
Surprisingly, though, festivals seem to be where I get in the least amount of trouble because I think it is because people are doing more drugs usually than drinking now. After saying that, I'm thinking about a lot of trips over to Somerset where there was plenty of everything involved. In Wisconsin, you've got to get drunk before you take drugs. I think that's a state law.
Sure.
But usually there's such a good vibe. I'm thinking of like Lollapalooza or some of the Taste of Minnesota festivals that would go on. There's 2 stages. You bounce back between the Chili Peppers and, whatever. Jesus and Mary Chain was on the second stage. And then you're back over for Pearl Jam. And you're just riding a nice light buzz on a pretty day. Yeah, give me a festival. I like a good festival.
Communal.
And and it's just
supportive.
Whereas you go to a concert, you get all lit up before you get there. Then you get there and you get more lit up, and then it's just fast and furious.
Yeah, I definitely coming in through the side door, just having played festivals. If someone says, do you want to go to a gig to this day, my first consideration is parking. If I got parking, I'll go. If I don't, no, I just can't.
Yeah.
I just can't see it. Walked into, and I did that, drove over from, this is 20 years ago, probably, but drove from Nashville over to Bonnaroo. It's like an hour and a half drive. And the band was all going in on the bus, but we were in Nashville, so I just took my own car because I just wanted to, and I followed right behind the bus, and I parked right there. But we walked off stage, and I was driving 49 seconds after the last downbeat.
Out the door.
Just get me away.
Left it running.
Just gonna turn. Did that a few times. The other time I did that same year, 2005, we played a gig in Pensacola on a Sunday night. Pensacola, Florida, obviously.
Yeah.
And then the next morning, my daughter was in preschool, and they had shoe shine day where they shine their dad's shoes. It was a whole thing. It was just and it's just giving them. It was like it was a Montessori school, so they give them all these practical, like they just do stuff. They learned how to do. My kids were so advanced, and then they left there and went to normal school and forgot everything because we didn't do our good job to remind them. Like, no, you know how to do everything. You know how to load the dishwasher. You know how to do this. And then it was a fight for the next 12 years. But anyway, they just did a thing, and it's not even about the shoe shine. It's about doing something with the dad and a kid. Anyway, whatever. All I know is this. I couldn't play the gig that night and then get up and catch an early morning flight. There were none that would get me there in time.
You missed shoe shine day.
No, I didn't. I rented a car, and I walked off stage and immediately just drove like 7.5, 8 hours overnight to be there for 8 a.m.
Dad.
Because that's just how I kind of roll. But it was the same thing. I got the rental car, and I'm like, this is just so stupid, but I thought it was so cool because I backed it up right to the bottom stair off the stage. And the whole shtick was, okay, when the show's over, I had my drum tech had the keys to the car waiting for me. And, finish the show, stand up and I wave. I turn, he puts them in my hand, and I run. I just go down the stairs off the side of the stage. I'm in the car. And, the rest of the band was still on stage waving, and I'm pulling away.
Oh, funny.
And, it's just the dumbest stuff, but, that was the cool thing for the year. I was like, man, that was...
No, I think that's fantastic.
And literally, and then I go home for the day. The next day, I fly back to wherever we are, and everyone's like, how was that getaway, man? That was pretty cool. Because you just never get to do stuff like that.
How was the shine? She whipped those Oxfords into shape for you?
Just barely awake through the whole thing. I was this is great. I'm really glad I'm here. And so then we did the shine, went home. Then I slept all day, was grumpy, got up first. Next day, I'm on an early morning flight. The whole thing was miserable. But hey, I was there.
All anyone remembers is Dad made it for shoe shine day.
Parenthood. Lovely, isn't it? Hey, the KQ Morning Show podcast is something you should be hip to. You can listen to our show anytime you want, anywhere you get podcasts. That particular experience brought to you by our good friends at Devani's Pizza and Hot Hoagies. Hot Hoagies from Devani's. Hey, the KQ Karaoke Cruise. Let's discuss this. Friday, June 21st, Paddleford Riverboats. We're going to go down the old Mississippi, and we're going to have a good time. 2 karaoke stages, food from Lucky's 13 Pub. Oh,
it's going to be a good time. Always is.
Yeah, get on the board.
It's going to be pretty sweet. And you know what we'd like to do? We'd like to extend an offer. If you're looking for tickets, listen up.
Right now on the KQ92 talk and text line, it was such a nice, relaxing morning, wasn't it? Just going along swimmingly.
We've been having fun.
Yeah, I even leaned back in my chair a little bit. That's over.
Do you want to ruin it right now?
We're going to ruin it right now. Callers 9 and 2, 651-989-ROCK. We're playing. Well, it's Friday. He's back. Beat the Toaster for tickets to the KQ Karaoke Cruise. Friday, June 21st with Paddleford Riverboats. All that good stuff that Steve just mentioned. Our runner-up today, Epic Eagles, the definitive Eagles tribute band, visiting Treasure Island Events Center Friday, May 31st. Thank you to Treasure Island. 651-989-ROCK. Dial up. Good luck and hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. That was Genesis with That's All. Phil Collins, drumming for Genesis. Peter Gabriel leaves. They apparently sat in a room with literally hundreds of singers. Like when you read stories about them trying to replace Peter Gabriel, and anybody that walked by, they'd be like, hey, come in and sing one. Come in and sing one. And then finally they're like, Phil, do you want to try your hand at singing? And it was like, yeah, the guy's already here.
Yeah, but can he write a song?
It turned out he could.
Yeah.
Turned out he could. Phil Collins, by the way, some night if you're in a room with a bunch of drummers and you're having a couple drinks, wait a little while and go, is Phil Collins a hack or what?
Mm-hmm.
And
what would they say?
He's the most underrated. He's one of the all-time great drummers. And because he was so successful as a singer-songwriter, no one talks about it. But get drummers going on Phil's Genesis drumming. Oh, it's hilarious because everyone has to defend him harder than the guy next to him.
That's funny.
Yeah. I've experienced it a dozen times. No, but what about... No, I'm the third Genesis record on that second song. What's that one on the side, too? It's about the fair... It's like 11 minutes long. That turn at the second minute turnaround, when drummers go crazy with good reason. He's amazing.
Yeah.
But it's awesome because everyone has to take up the mantle for the world forgot how great a drummer he was because of that damn
because he was
Against
writing
All
number one
Odds
hit song.
Yeah.
Right.
He did that song about the movie with James Woods and what's her name, and then the other guy, and then there's a car crash
Jeff
and
Bridges,
Against All Odds,
and Rachel Ward, and then all of a sudden you forget he's great. But he really is a great drummer. Anyway, sorry, that's a little quick drum diversion. Phil Collins, nice job, bud. More than earned his keep. We're going to give a chance to some listeners to earn their keep on the KQ Karaoke Cruise. Friday, June 21st with Paddleford Riverboats, we're going to be cruising and karaokeing and having ourselves a ball. But if you want to win tickets, you got to run the gauntlet around here. And there's one specific gauntlet that we like to hold out for Fridays. Tony?
Oh, it's on. Bring the noise, bring the funk.
The KQ Morning Show presents...
All we need to do is beat the toaster.
Beat the toaster.
It's a game show.
Beat the toaster.
Beat the toaster, eat the toaster.
You make it sound like fun.
It is. Here's what we do. We're going to pop a slice of bread into the toaster here in the studio. We give you a category. Then you name as many things that pop into your head as possible in 15 seconds before the toast pops. Go ahead, try and beat the toaster. Dare ya.
That's great.
Today, I think we're going to go with some, let's go with some Sara Lee honey wheat. Honey wheat.
Oh, man. I haven't had a slice of honey wheat in quite a while.
What say ye?
Man, that's
Any
good
bread
stuff.
that you have to wrap twice. You have to wrap it and then put it in a bag. It's got to be some good bread.
Slice of honey wheat ready to go. Who's contestant number one?
Contestant number one is our pal Kenny from Minneapolis.
Kenny, good morning.
Morning.
If I hand you a piece of toast of Sara Lee honey wheat, what do you put on it? Butter, peanut butter, jelly? What do you like on toast?
Butter and peanut butter.
Butter and peanut butter.
And my grandmother used to make, not on toast, but butter and peanut butter sandwiches.
My dad
And I
did that
disliked
too.
her for many years because
Is that
of it.
true?
Yeah, it is true. I'm like, Grandma, jam, jelly.
Yeah, come
Yeah,
on.
preservatives. Let's do it. Marmalade, that would even work.
Oh, sure it would. Yeah, Grandma Gorman, Gertie was a marmalade gal, boy. She'd work an orange marmalade jar down to the nose.
Oh, would she make her own marmalade?
I don't know. I just know that anytime she was coming to visit, suddenly there was orange marmalade in the fridge.
Marmalade. To defend Kenny, however, our first contestant, I could see with the butter because that soaks into the toast. And then, you
it's
peanut
so
butter
good.
on top. It's just extra buttery.
All right, Kenny. Well, listen, there's 2 tickets to the KQ Karaoke Cruise on the table. We are going to ask you, my friend, to beat the toaster. Good luck.
Thanks.
All right, Kenny, my boy, tell me, name some things that are rough to the touch. Go.
My hair. The carpet. A jigsaw. A chainsaw. Hot water. An ice cube. A dog's mouth.
Wow.
Dog's mouth.
Okay.
All right.
I mean, the tongue of a dog, very rough.
Oh, yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Are we giving jigsaw and chainsaw, or was it a
Those are two
self-correction?
separate saws. They're two separate saws, but are we giving hot water?
It can be.
Yes, it could be kind of. Well, speculation.
I think we can go.
I'll
I think we
allow
can
it.
give it to him.
Yeah.
Kenny with a strong 7 opening round.
Damn.
I'll allow it.
Anybody who
All right.
starts with my hair is going to win favor around here.
My hair.
What's the old? There's that Jim Jarmusch film with Johnny Depp where he goes out west and Neil Young does the soundtrack. Black and white film from mid-'90s.
Oh.
It's so good.
I know what you're talking
Yeah, I
about.
haven't
It's
watched it.
great.
It was
but
black and white, so I didn't watch it.
I just remember Billy Bob Thornton talking about, you got great hair. Mine's like old barn straw.
Get a good conditioner, Kenny.
Yeah, it was really good. That's what I thought of when Kenny said that. All right, well done, man. That's really, really good. The movie's called Dead Man. Whew, boy, that would have driven me crazy. Worth a look. Kenny, 7 for 7 is a great start, my friend. Sit tight. It's time for round 1 with contestant number 2. Who's that?
Contestant number 2 is our friend Pete, all the way from sunny Naples, Florida.
Pete, good morning, brother. How are you?
A lot better now. I'm in God's waiting room, so I'm ready.
Hey, how far is Naples? That's you're on the west side of the state, right?
Correct, right off Alligator Alley.
Yeah, I saw today, like, it's going to be 108 degrees in Miami-Dade County today. So I hope you have a little cooler day down in Naples. Lovely part of the world, Pete. Good luck. Beat the Toaster round 1. Tony, what has Pete got to do here for us?
Pete, in your Naples abode, what's in your junk drawer? Go.
Zip ties, duct tape,
What?
paper clips, scissors, staples, rubber bands, pens, papers, clips, batteries.
Wow.
Who's your buddy?
You're a ventriloquist?
Is a Cyrano de Bergerac situation happening down there?
Pens.
Well, second round, he's going to go, I love you, Tony. I love you, Tony.
Did we start off with zip ties?
Zip ties and duct tape. It was taking a real floor to turn there for a second.
Here's the noose.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got 9.
Wow.
Holy smokes, that
Impressive.
junk drawer
Getting
is
after
packed.
it. Yeah.
Very well played, Pete. 9 is almost a record. I know someone hit double digits once on round 1. All right. Very well played, sir. Hang on. We're going to go back to Kenny for round 2. Kenny, you got your work cut out for you. Let's see here. Round 2, usually a little tougher, so take a deep breath.
True.
Tony, where are we at?
We're going to burn the toast a tad. Ken, you want to impress somebody and hip them to the fact that you're a real risk-taking daredevil. What do you tell them that you've done? Go.
Jump out of an airplane, jump off a building, rolled my motorcycle, walked on my hands on the beach, held my breath underwater. I beat up a whale.
Wait, is that
Yeah,
true?
that's
Did you beat up a
strong.
whale, dude? That would be impressive at a
You
bar.
bully.
Chicks would love to hear that. You beat up a whale?
All right.
I've never heard of anyone rolling a motorcycle before. I like that one.
No.
That was strong. He jumped out of an airplane, off a building. He rolled a motorcycle, walked on his hands on his beach, held his breath, beat up a whale. That's a grand total of 13, Kenny.
Wow.
A 7 and 6.
It's a legend.
Strong. Very, very strong. Pete's going to have his work cut out for him because, as we said, round 2 can sometimes be really, really difficult. Well played, Kenny. All right, Pete from Naples, Florida. It's time for round 2. 4 to tie. 5 gets the win. Good luck.
All right, Pete, you're in Naples. Maybe you already have one, but if not, you're going to do it this season. You're going to buy a boat based on some of your favorite activities or things. What are some names you can give your boat? Hit it.
She died quickly. The coral reefer's quick. The slip is low. The slip is wet. She's wet. High tide. Low tide. It's all about tide. Let's get tied. You want to tie it up?
Wow.
Wow.
Are you
Darkness.
currently seeing someone?
She died quickly from the man who has zip ties and duct tape in his junk drawer.
Yes.
No last names, Pete. We don't want to get your name in trouble. All right, high tide, low tide, let's get tied. I think it's safe to say Pete has won.
Yeah, I ran away with
tickets.
it today. Yeah.
Speaking of boats, you're going to be on the karaoke cruise on June 21st.
We're going.
Make sure they go. All right. Make sure you say hi, Pete. We look forward to seeing you. Congratulations. Kenny,
Nice.
You're not going to leave empty-handed, sir, as the runner-up today. Epic Eagles, the definitive Eagles tribute band, Friday, May 31st at Treasure Island Event Center. Gentlemen, thank you for playing Beat the Toaster.
Yeah. A couple of strong performances today. The
Yeah,
guys were on their A
absolutely.
game. Yeah, they got some sleep last night.
One was thrilling, one was disturbing.
Yeah, no kidding. We got one guy beating up whales and
Mm-hmm.
another guy just living a life of avoiding the law at all costs.
Beat up a whale. Not a
Wow.
big deal anyway. You got to see what I can do in the sack.
The craziest story of the day, if you're just joining us, from Louisville, Kentucky,
What
the
in the
PGA
hell?
Championship is going on this weekend. Scottie Scheffler, the world's #1 ranked golfer for a while now. He's not a flash in the pan. This kid's amazing. He has been arrested and charged with second-degree assault of a police officer, third-degree criminal mischief, reckless driving, and disregarding traffic signals from an officer directing traffic.
All right,
Second-degree assault, that's a felony.
That is a felony. felony, boys and girls, on a police officer. That comes with a little extra added. Now, this happened in the very early morning, dark hours down there in Louisville, Kentucky. And here we have him already handcuffed with the two police officers and a reporter standing there. You won't be able to probably hear. The reporter is recording this on his phone. Probably won't hear Scottie Scheffler, but he looks back at the reporter and says, "Help me," and we'll get some of this interchange.
Guys.
Dude, step back.
Back up, or
I'm
you
not. I'm back.
Step back.
I'm back.
I want to get this.
Guys.
Here he is.
What do we do? I'm staying back.
Here's the thing. Right now, he's going to jail.
Okay.
Okay, he's going to jail, and it ain't nothing you can do about it. Period. There's nothing you can do about it.
Okay.
Okay. Now, do you have
First,
a question?
I'm media. I'm a reporter. Okay. So that's all.
That's fine.
I just want to make sure that's
okay.
known.
But you need to step back over here now.
No problem.
All right, well,
Okay.
we get the gist of it, so that's all we got of it. Scottie Scheffler asking for help. They take him down, and Scottie Scheffler and I now have something in common. We've both been in an orange jumpsuit with that blank stare on our face, like, what the F did I just do? We do have this piece of audio. Rory McIlroy driving past Scottie Scheffler this morning as he's being put in the cruiser.
Woo! Is there a problem, officer?
Here's Scottie Scheffler's last 6 starts. Win, tied for second, win, prison.
Man,
that's his last 6 starts right there.
The LPD just got up today and said we got to do something. We got to throw a roadblock in front of this guy.
I mean, is this something? Do we get into a little? We're trying to figure this out ourselves this morning. How Scottie Scheffler ends up with a felony charge, handcuffed, hauled off. I mean, if that's a felony charge, you don't. He's not going to make his round today. I mean,
he's already been sprung. He's already on his way back to the course, man.
He is.
Yeah.
All right. So after a felony, it's just, all right, you just make bail and away you go.
Felony charge.
Normally you have to go into court, but I guess it's 9 o'clock there. So, yeah, I suppose if they got him into court right away. And
I don't think it's hyperbolic to suggest the governor of Kentucky has been on the phone already today a few times to someone in Louisville going, what the hell are you doing? We've got the focus. We had the Kentucky Derby a few weeks ago. Now we got the PGA Championship here, and the best golfer in the world. What?
Yeah, Mr.
What are you doing,
Mr. One Mood? Yeah. I mean, just I was watching a tournament last year that he was leading in, and I mentioned to Maria. I said, I wonder if he's ever thrown a club, because that's how even keel this guy comes off. That I'm like, I wonder if he's ever just gotten pissed off and dropped an Effenheimer. Scottie Scheffler, just like you said, a human bowl of vanilla ice cream. And so what we know so far is apparently there was a fatality in that general vicinity going to the PGA Championship. A guy was trying to cross traffic and was hit by a bus, died on the scene. Scottie Scheffler doesn't know this, but they're controlling traffic in and out of the area, and Scottie Scheffler tries to drive around. Probably something you shouldn't do. They say an officer attached himself to the car. I don't know if he grabbed the car then, or, I'm picturing a carabiner and he, cables onto the car, but that didn't happen. And then Scottie Scheffler drove another 10 yards, and the officer reaches inside the car, unlocks his door, pulls him out, and handcuffs him. That's the second-degree assault on the police officer, and just seems like it should have been handled there on the side of the road. Like, no. Hey, mister, there's been a fatality, and it just feels like it shouldn't have escalated to this point. But we don't know much
along
yet.
the way. I get that Scheffler had no idea that it happened because he's a golfer in the middle of a competition. I'm surprised, and this just speaks to my ignorance of these guys' day-to-day life. I'm surprised he's driving himself to the golf course, actually. Yeah. But he woke up early, did whatever it is he does before a round at a major championship, which does not involve scrolling Twitter, I promise you. But, at the same time, no agent, no one's texting him going, traffic at the course is really backed up, or maybe they did, so he was already thinking, I'll just go around it. Who knows what happened? The best tweet I've seen today by far, however, Adam Schefter of ESPN tweeted, Scottie Scheffler is on his way to Valhalla a few minutes ago. He's back to the course. The course is called Valhalla. That was retweeted by someone who wrote, oh, my God, they killed him. Valhalla, we are coming.
Yeah. Well,
He's going to go sit at the right hand of Arnold Palmer.
I've got a whole bunch of friends right now that are texting me, hey, when a cop says stop, you stop. Okay, yes, I get that. But we live in a world that's a bit less black and white than that, if you will. It just sounds like something, because he did stop. Yeah. The officer wasn't run over. I don't know, maybe he ran over his toe or something. It just seems like something like, whoa, buddy, I don't care who you are. You give him a good tongue lashing, a finger wagging, but I don't know if it's a felony charge. We do have this audio, the Louisville police chief to the officer that arrested Scottie Scheffler.
Are you a big man? Huh? I'm talking to you. What? You wake up in the morning and say, I put on my big boy pants.
All the superior officers, just think about their day. They're like, no, you did your job, you did what you have to do, but then they leave the room and go, oh my God, I'm never going to hear the end of it.
I mean, you've got every news source in the world descending upon that police precinct right now, and I get it. Hey, listen, man, when the officer says stop, you stop. But Scottie Scheffler did not stop, and second-degree assault.
And I can't comment too much more because I had a run-in with the Louisville Police Department in 1993.
Explain.
I don't have the time, and I'll be in such a bad mood if I do. Maybe in a few. Maybe I got to think about how I want to approach this, because boy, it still can work me over like there's no tomorrow.
I think one of these officers had some money on Shoffley.
That's what I'm saying. They had to stop this guy somehow, like you said. He wins every damn tournament he enters. All right, more on Shufflegate momentarily. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Friday, May the 17th. Good morning. When eating out at a restaurant, as one does, as we do, as the collective of all of us, I mean, not just we here in the room. Anytime you go to a restaurant, sometimes you order food, especially if you go to a lot of Japanese restaurant, there's always a garnish. You know, sometimes you'll get a very nice artistic garnish, like a carrot sliced like a lotus flower or whatever.
Creative.
Yeah,
yes.
Very nice. There's a restaurant in Tampa, Florida, a Japanese restaurant that has gone a little too far trying to make their meals, as they say, a little more Instagram worthy. They really do. They go all out to dress the plate up. You've got your little bit of food, and then you've got something on the side of it. Very nice presentation. A local journalist did some investigative work. I don't know if this would have been on the crime beat, but someone just checked out.
This plate of food looks a little suspicious to me. It's a little too well fancied up.
I'm like, I don't know. Something about this plate really excites me. And so this is a guy from the Tampa Bay Times restaurant, and he went to a restaurant called K-O, and he's like, those garnishes are really, really something. There's a leafy green sprig they put on the plate. He discovered it's from a foxtail fern. That's an inedible plant, for the record. They're grown right behind the restaurant. Workers go out and they just pull them out of the ground, rinse them off.
Is this from their little sustainable garden in the greenhouse?
No, not exactly sure. No, it's just right there by the sidewalk. So he just stayed put and pulled out his old camera, and he noticed that when somebody wasn't standing by there pulling out the weeds, like dogs would walk by and just pee all over the place.
There's a homeless man that just crapped in that bush the night before.
Yeah. The owner of the restaurant says, no. These are just decorative. None of the things on the plate are coming in contact with the food.
What?
But the guy's got the film. He's got the tape that shows restaurant employees pulling these things out of the ground that have just been urinated on by dogs. And next thing you know, it's right next to your hot, spicy tuna roll.
Give it a good rinse. I'm convinced that half the time that's just to charge you a few extra bucks, They take. I'm like, why don't you take that off my plate and put some more food on the plate, since I'm paying a premium right now. But then that doubles down on nasty, doesn't it?
Gives a little acidic taste.
You can't just rinse off dog piss either. I don't think.
No, you can. I wouldn't recommend it.
No.
I mean, I don't know. I'm a big fan of that. Keep the animal pee away from my food.
Urine-free delicacies.
Yeah,
what a snob.
Eater. Yeah, no kidding.
I don't think I have like a sensitive gastrointestinal tract, but it's certainly not. It's susceptible to things. I mean, I've had food poisoning a couple times.
Yeah.
Both true, real, honest to God 24 to 36 hour food poisoning. Both times happened out of the country.
Yeah.
Which makes it even worse.
Some people have an upset tummy, and they might even irp a little bit. They say, I have food poisoning. Believe me, if you've had food poisoning,
you know
it. Yeah.
It's astonishingly great for weight loss. I had a Portuguese mayonnaise incident that led to, I kid you not, I was 20 pounds in like 4 days. I mean, it just falls off you.
Wasn't that a chapter in your book, the Portuguese mayonnaise incident?
It was edited for time, but yes, it was originally written. It was I thought it was Pulitzer worthy. I spent 11 pages just sitting on the toilet, just explaining the feeling. I had you hear about people with bed sores. I had porcelain sores at the end of that week. It was just absolutely horrible. No, I also had, to your point, Zep, there's no questioning if it's food poison. Had it in Argentina once and played, when I had it in Europe, I played several shows before it cleared up. Only had one gig in Argentina, and it was not one but two Imodium went down the hatch before the gig, just to ensure that I wouldn't
lock it up.
Yeah, had to just shut her down.
Did it work?
Yeah, it did. I got through the gig. I Hoover damned myself right up, and but then that leads to incredible cramping.
Yeah, right.
Your body's trying to do you a solid by getting rid of it, and I'm like, I gotta put up a dam here. I got a roadblock.
It's a romantic story out of Argentina.
It was great.
I
met a woman there, and
I've had food poisoning since we've been doing this show, and I think I explained it to you guys the next day as barfing yourself inside out.
Yeah.
Because it's a different kind of barfing, food poisoning. I drank too much. There's my tummy's upset. There's stick my finger down my throat so I'm not so hungover the next morning. Yuck. And then there's food poisoning. It's violent. You'll break a rib.
These are the kind of things that hopefully you don't have to go through alone. But then again, sometimes relationships can hinge on these various issues. There's a survey that happens every year, and it's called the Intestinal Intimacy Survey.
Okay.
And basically, this is what it comes down to. How comfortable are you in relationships with the pee and the poo and the puke?
Yeah, well,
bodily functions.
You're going to have to get there sooner or later. There's that honeymoon period, and then there's that kind of semi-living together period, and then you've got to start,
down and dirty.
I have some tummy issues from time to time, and at some point I realize, okay, you get to meet the real me.
Yeah.
This is going to stick to the paint.
Well,
you said the word tummy like 10 times. I think that's really badass.
Tummy? Yeah. Some tummy issues.
About 3/4 of us say a romantic relationship, you can't really consider it serious if you're not discussing bathroom behavior with your partner. And half the people said you should wait at least 3 months before you talk about your digestive habits and the fallout of things that might happen. I dated a girl briefly, and she told me, and she was dead serious. She said, I will never share a bathroom with a man for as long as I live. I'm just not comfortable doing it.
You mean at the same time, or just
no? She said, if I ever live with someone, we'll have separate bathrooms. Like I will. She was dead serious in her mid-20s, and she said, and she goes, it's a me thing. I don't like what I do, and I don't like to hear about what someone else is doing. It's a private, and she was.
Some people get really hung up on that.
She was very hung up on, and I haven't seen her in decades. I don't know what happened, but I just remember it was the first time because I had girlfriends in high school and college, and I totally remember just holding back a fart forever.
Yeah.
And then eventually, at some point, you're like, I'll go ahead and break up if I have to, but watch out, Sally. Here comes a storm. You just at some point you're like, screw it, I don't care.
Yeah.
It's like,
you're going to get all the noise. I'm not going to hold back. It's going to smell.
Next time that happens, I'm going to think, watch out, Sally.
I can remember early on, I dated a girl in college, and very early on, I accidentally let fly with one, and she goes, oh, gross. And I literally looked at this girl. There were two people in the room, and I said, that wasn't me. To the other person in the room, and she looked at me like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, and I said, no, it was me, but I didn't mean to do that. And she was like, what in the world?
I've often said the second best part of a one-night stand is getting the hell out of their place and just farting. You know, that door shuts behind you and...
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I may have shared this. I have that exact story. And it's one of the many things that if we ever make the movie, if I ever make a movie about anything, I could make a movie about goldfish, and I'm putting this scene in it. I don't care. But it was a gal and I, you're circling each other, you see each other a lot, you talk, you flirt.
Mm-hmm.
You finally have the moment. I go home with her, and we have a really nice night. And I wake up at 6 a.m., 6:30, very early. And I've got to pee like a racehorse. And I go into her bathroom, and her bathroom door is in an old apartment building. It didn't shut all the way at all. You could close it, but not flush. Like the frame was bigger. The door was too big for the frame type of thing.
Shit.
Oh, no.
But it's still mostly shut. But I go in, and it's a small girl bathroom. Again, it's an apartment building, like pre-war apartment building in Atlanta. So everything's small. And I am wobbly still. I'm almost hungover because I'm still drunk. I'd only had a few hours sleep, and I just got to pee, but I sit down just for my own safety because I'm like, I just got to sit here. And as I'm sitting there, the copious amounts of draft beer come a calling, and I just have one of my all-time. It's a one-man Blazing Saddles moment. I mean, just literally. And the more it goes, and I'm like literally sweating. I'm so much beer's coming, and I'm laughing because it's so absurd. I'm 23, 24. I've never had anything like this, and I'm like, this is unbelievable.
Beer farts,
and I'm just sad that no one's there to enjoy it with me. I'm thinking like, man, where are
the guys when you need them?
And I get up when it's done, and I open the door, and I walk into the bedroom, and she's now awake, and she's just the look on that girl's face, and I just went, I'm gonna go home. She just nodded. She didn't even say a word. She just nodded like, yes, you go home
out of here.
She was literally, I can imagine waking up and realizing you brought a hippopotamus home the night before. That would be very jarring for anybody. But I walked out of there, and I sat in my beat up my old Dodge Dart that someone gave me for free that barely worked, and I laughed for 30 minutes. I couldn't even drive. I was laughing so hard. It's just incredible.
As long as it happens after.
And so needless to say, that relationship that did end right there on the time.
Well, no phone number exchanged.
No, some relationships are meant to only be that long.
Most people do agree they will turn down sex if they're in the middle of digestive issues. I think that makes perfect sense. And by digestive issues, if you're thinking something's going to come out either up or down, don't just keep that out of the bedroom. I suppose.
No, I've never had it happen in the bed. But I'm just trying to think of moments that I would have turned it down. There's just there's a lot of things that have happened over the years. I think about the kind of serial killer chick, and I'm like, I'm going to go through with this anyway, but. I've never taken it in bed, but I've held on to it for a while.
A lot of folks also say just in relationships, even married relationships, say they have lost interest in the moment because their partner had gas. One fart and the mood's done. It's a buzzkill. We're just about to.
Yeah, well, if it's particularly smelly, it could be off-putting.
I can see that.
It's a delicate balance.
Yeah. I know guys that just. Have no problem.
Barrel through.
Yeah, just barrel through. Have no problem letting it go. But then we'll say something like, well, hey, how's it going with Katie? She totally farted. Just in bed. There we are, just watching TV, and she just farted. Totally turned me off. I'm like, you fart all the time, man. You don't fart in front of her? Constantly. I'm like, oh, you're a double standard sexist kind of dude. They can't fart.
The first time, my high school girlfriend farted one time, and it didn't smell like perfume, and I was surprised. I was like, I just thought it was going to smell like Charlie.
I expected more of you.
Yeah.
Charlie.
Ginger.
Charlie. That's the first one that came to mind.
That's a good one.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, there's a fragrance that's new in town, and they call it Charlie. I can't. That is a bizarre double standard to me. I mean, it's because the counter to that is she's holding it in all day, and that's not good for anybody.
No,
it's just going to be worse.
Than in. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, right, exactly.
Digestive dilemmas and working conditions don't mix. A lot of people say they would much rather go home. They call in sick if they begin to feel gassy while at work.
Well, what?
Crowded cubicles, I guess.
Step outside. You don't have to go all the way home. I was just talking to Oberg out here in the lobby yesterday. I was like, hey, let's take it outside. I got to fart.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not that big of a deal. I've got to run home because I feel gassy. If I got a big greasy one, maybe.
Growing up in a huge family, I mean, you just got the bathroom when you could. There was a lot of like, oh man, someone's in there. I mean, it's just general. There's just 8 kids in the house, so we definitely had
especially when the boys hit the teenage years.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of nothing was too precious. I'll just leave it at that. You just. There's moments. I mean, I can't tell you the number of times that in the morning, someone is in the shower, someone's dropping a deuce, and someone's brushing their teeth all in the same bathroom. That's just life in a really crowded family.
Yep.
But interestingly enough, not my dad. My dad did not. He was not bathroom happy, not comfortable. I mean, and he would.
Well, that's dad time.
That's dad. He would, but I mean, he's the guy who would be. He'd just in the middle of the day. Sometimes he'd just come into the house. He'd be like, "Hey, what's up?" He's like, I was just driving by. I had to use the bathroom." And then we all realized later, like, "Oh no, he just can't take a dump at work. He would drive home.
Oh, he's coming home to go to the bathroom."
Yeah.
Well, I've worked with people like that. They have to dash and go. I'm not using the bathroom here. I'm the opposite. I'm like, I have to clean my toilet. I'm going to drop it here. And leave.
Yeah, 651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talk and text line. They say in a relationship, it's very important to be communicative and open about your expectations sexually. Like, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. Mm-hmm. No less important is this stuff. Hey, you know what? I fart a lot, or I never fart, or farts make me vomit. You got to get it all out. You don't want to be caught off guard. Tony, we got a phone call?
Sean from Minneapolis with some gaseous advice.
Sean from Minneapolis, help us, brother.
Good morning, guys.
What do you got? Hey. What's on your mind?
Hey, I feel I've known you guys all my life. I mean, Steve and I, we were born the same year. Everything you guys talk about, I can relate to.
Beautiful.
Poor man.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
The spirit of 65 is alive.
Keep your chin up anyway.
1965. Anyways, you guys talking about passing gas in the moment of
intimacy.
In the moment, I think you should bring a little humor into it and say something like, "I'm a human instrument." you got to bring back the moment.
I'm a woodwind.
I'm a woodwind. Guess what I am now?
Wow.
Thank you, Sean.
You're right. Hey, if you can get them to laugh. If she doesn't laugh, then you need some exit strategy there. But you're right. Don't take it seriously. It's not a serious thing.
You're right.
That's a good point, Sean. It reminds me. Thank you for the call, brother, and I'm glad the show's working for you. My wife and I, early in our relationship, there was one of the first nights we had spent together. Woke up in the morning to the sound of a siren going right by. It was getting louder and louder, and we both, in our half sleep, we both covered each other's ear. Like we're laying facing each other, and at the exact same time, with our eyes closed, I just put my finger in her, and she did it in mine, and it really was very, very sweet. It was like, and we were like, oh man, and I of course had to ruin that a couple days later when I had just had a big fart brewing, and we were laying there, and I just put my finger in her ear, and she looked at me like,
why did you plug her nose?
Yeah, well, I thought later she wouldn't have known. She would have thought like, what's that all about?
I
just covered her ear, and she kind of looked at me funny. And then she still heard it, and she was like, "You've ruined this wonderful moment we had."
We had this sweet, tender moment.
Hey, man, listen, I was still trying to help you. That's all I'm trying to do.
Sean said, you got to
help me help you.
Got to make them laugh.
Almost a third of the people say they have rethought an outfit in favor of something more comfortable as they recognize before heading out, like, I don't know, get a little gassy. I better put on some looser fitting clothes.
Don't wear white.
Yeah, guys don't wear outfits, so and we don't care. Yeah, so I don't know.
No.
I mean, if I've got the tight pants, that means that the 34s are dirty, so I've got to wear the 33s, and they're a little snug. Mm-hmm.
That just reminds me. Did you ever? Was it Jimmy Fallon and Will Ferrell who had the tight pants song?
I got my tight pants on.
My tight pants on.
Everybody's talking about my tight pants.
Jimmy Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon.
That was it with Will Ferrell. I remember that.
Jennifer Lopez was on it. Yes, different people come on.
Yeah, it was a running bit.
Man, speaking of J-Lo, gosh, that Bennifer thing's just got me. I couldn't sleep last night.
I thought this time it was going to stick.
Damn it.
Oh, well. Hey, you can stream 92KQRS on your phone. Listen anywhere you go. If you search 92KQRS for our newly updated app at the App Store, then you will be in business. You can also, of course, just simply look at your smart speaker and say, hey, play 92KQRS, or I'll fart, and then your smart speaker will be confused, but it will put on 92KQRS. Make no mistake about it. Crime report right around the corner. A serious crime report from Louisville. Cats and dogs are living together. Pigs are flying, and golfers are being arrested. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It's Friday, May the 17th. Any comments you want to share with us, you can call us or you can text us. 651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talk and Text line. I mentioned earlier, I have to respond to a text from Liz. Okay, right. Liz said, stick your finger in your wife's ear when a siren goes off because it's loud. Like, you didn't want to wake her up. Didn't the finger in the ear do that?
No, it was a wet willy.
No, here's the thing. I didn't cram it in there like wet willy style. It was just you cover it. It was more a gesture, sort of a half awake, half asleep. Oh, I'll cover your ear. The point was we both did it at the same time for each other.
Like when Mom throws her arm over you. You've got your seatbelt on anyway, but Mom.
I did that with you in the car last Saturday. Throw the arm out, man. Hitting the brakes a little harder than I expected.
No, you were covering his mouth.
Yes, while I stuck my finger in his ear.
That's right. We wet willied and blindsided each other.
Gross.
Wasn't that the Blindside movie when Sandra Bullock was like, he put his arm out and saved my kid in the car crash? That's how I know he's going to be an offensive lineman.
Never did watch that movie.
That was all right.
I heard it was all right.
I like Sandra Bullock. I know she gets a lot of grief. I've always thought she was great.
No, she seems like a gal you want to sit around naked with, play bongos, and smoke pot, like Matthew McConaughey did.
Boy, if you are bored to tears by the subject of golf, then this is for you. In Louisville, Kentucky right now, the PGA Championship's happening at a golf course called Valhalla. And a couple things of note happened yesterday. The leader after round one is... say his name.
Xander Schauffele.
Schauffele. I always want to say something else. Xander Schauffele, who shot a 62 for 18 holes at one of the most godforsaken, most brutal golf courses you could ever see.
See, I never heard of Valhalla. I thought, boy, what a cookie cutter course for these guys.
10 below par for a opening round. And then the world's number one ranked player, Scottie Scheffler, came out and played, and he eagled number one. This is the two-time defending Masters champion and a guy who, as I said, for a long time has been the top-ranked golfer on the planet. Well, this morning in Louisville at 5 a.m., outside the course, there was a traffic fatality. A pedestrian was hit by a shuttle bus or something along those lines. Terrible story. I mean, someone lost their life. And so the police got to the scene, traffic cops, they have a backed up traffic. It's a major sporting event, and now you've got a traffic incident, a fatality. Yeah. So traffic backs up for miles in all directions, and you've got cops out on the street trying to guide people through, and they're doing the hand signals, probably got flashlights. They're wearing yellow rain slickers because it's raining. It's a confusing moment. Back to our number one ranked golfer in the world, Scottie Scheffler. He's on his way to the course. He sees all this, and he's like, well, I'm just going to drive around it. I've got to play. I got a tee time in 2 hours. I'm Scottie Scheffler. And we don't know all the details, of course. It'll all come out. But he was apparently told to stop by a police officer. He assumed it was Paul Blart, mall cop, is my thinking. Drove around. The cop apparently jumped on his car.
Yeah, and then they say he attached himself to the car.
Attached himself to the car.
All right.
With
magnets.
Magnets and a rope or something. Anyway, long story short, the situation ends with the world's number one golfer being handcuffed, placed into a squad car, driven downtown. He's already got a mugshot in the orange jumpsuit. He's already been released. He's already on his way back to the course to play a round of golf today.
Take me to jail.
So, there he
is.
There's a lot of athletes that you might think to yourself, that makes sense. This is the last guy. Yeah. This is the last guy you would ever think.
Listen, now, hey, I know there's some uncompromising friends of mine out there going, it's Police Appreciation Week, flags at half-staff. We've been thinking about our officers this week. When a cop says stop, you stop. Absolutely. You're right, 100%. But we do live in a gray area. I've been pulled over for speeding, and the cop says, you know what, I'm going to let you go. Just keep her slow through here or whatever.
Yeah.
It just seems, I haven't heard anything yet in this report I haven't heard anything come in this morning where I'm thinking to myself, the officer couldn't have said, yeah, I don't care who you are, Scottie Scheffler. Yeah, you think you're just going to drive around because you're playing here today. But listen, we had a fatality out here this morning. We have to regulate traffic. Just hold your horses.
Yeah.
Stay in line with everyone else. And then if he continues, he's like, yeah, screw you, and speeds off. Yeah, now you've got yourself. It just seems to me like it could have been handled on the side of the road. Better also by Scottie Scheffler, because when a cop says stop, just stop. Now, there's a reporter this morning that was with him or on the scene at the time, recorded this, and is reporting on the PGA channel this morning, was standing there the entire time this happened. In fact, he's recording this from a police officer nearby.
Right now, he's going to jail.
Okay.
He's going to jail, and it ain't nothing you can do about it. Period. There's nothing you can do about it.
Okay.
Okay. Now, do you have a question?
All right. He's a reporter, and he says that Scottie Scheffler thought it was security at the course, and he's like, yeah, the guys, I'm here to work, and yeah, I see what you're doing. He doesn't know there's a fatality, but it just seems to me it could have been worked out right there on the spot. But he's been charged now with a serious felony.
That journalist is now reported. After they took him away, one of the cops looked to him and said, who was that we just arrested?
That's great.
Because he's wearing shorts and sneakers. He doesn't look, he's not dressed for the nines. Scottie Scheffler, by the way, Scottie Scheffler is teeing off in 8 minutes. He's back at the course. He is about to start his round. Seriously. He was walking off the driving range, and apparently from the galley, people are screaming, "You're not a criminal," at him now. This is all happening in real time.
I love the memes. He's already got a prison tattoo. He's got a little tear right here on his cheek.
On the face. Such a bizarre. I mean, if this were football, basketball, baseball, if this were any sport but but golf, we would be like, oh, that's weird. But it's golf. I mean, on top of everything else, it's like the last guy in the last sport you would expect to see something like this happen at a major event. This is the PGA Championship, after all.
It'll get sorted out.
It's you know what it is? It's bananas.
Yeah, I just love the old PGA, the bananas. I love the old PGA guys on the PGA channel trying to report this. Oh, well, I don't know. Do you whisper when you do it? Scottie Scheffler was detained earlier today.
If you watch the footage,
you'll see
the officer approaches from the left. Ooh, he's got the handcuffs in his hand right there.
Yeah, and Scottie walks calmly with the handcuffs towards the 19th green.
This reminds me of the Masters 2 years ago when Scheffler spun and changed. He went to the 6 iron. He changed to the 7. He's going with the 7 iron.
I love this meme. It's Rory McIlroy in a police uniform.
Of course, yeah.
They just pasted his face on a cop's uniform.
Here's a question, and this is the kind of thing that guys like we're talking about, championship golfers, never have to ask themselves. Okay, this is a question for the two of you. Tony, Zep. Would you rather be 5 times smarter, 5 times more attractive, or 5 times richer? Does this even take a second to answer?
Right, exactly. First of all, I don't think you can physically be 5 times more attractive than me.
That's true.
You can't be any smarter than I already am. No, I mean, obviously, I want to be richer. The other stuff can be taken care of.
If you could get a whole lot smarter, then you're just that much more looking around going, God, everyone's an idiot around here. I mean, it's bad enough as it is right now.
Yeah.
We're the 3 smartest people in Minnesota.
Yeah, looks are. I mean, there's a time and a place. It's nice. I guess life's a little easier for you. People just subliminally treat you nice, subconsciously treat you nicer. You get more pay raises. But yeah, just give me the money up front. I'll take that. The rest is irrelevant. The smarts and the looks, after you have the money, irrelevant.
Yeah, the proper funding, you can find ways to resource that.
Yeah.
The other stuff.
Chicks will sleep with you just for the money. You don't have to be hot or smart.
Looks and brains follow the money. I mean, as in you got enough zeros, and suddenly it's like, I just never noticed how handsome he was. Since all the good things follow the money, think about that, because tomorrow, according to astrology, is the luckiest day of the year. Go buy a lottery ticket tomorrow and hope no one else does, because everyone.
Astrology says so.
Yeah, that's right. The luckiest day of the year, according to astrology, tomorrow, May 18th, because of something called the Jupiter Cazimi. The Jupiter Cazimi.
Yes.
This is what happens when Jupiter is in conjunction with the sun, or within at least 1 degree of alignment. Okay, so that means it's a degree away from lining up with it from Earth's perspective. And so there's a luckiest time tomorrow at 1:36 p.m. Central Time. Buy your lottery tickets at 1:36. That's the luckiest time on the luckiest day.
Well,
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, if you believe in luck, then maybe it has something to do with the stars. It can't hurt. What time tomorrow in the noon hour? 12:36.
1:36.
I'm going to be standing there holding up the line, looking at my watch. No, just another minute. If you just give me just another minute before you hit the button.
And then, speaking of good luck, for anybody who survived the 80s, a new treatment may forever be able to get rid of herpes.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
That's a game
Herpesviruses
changer.
that lay around. I don't have, I'll just come out and say it. I do not have genital herpes, but I play a guy on the radio who you would imagine would have genital herpes.
You rock stars.
I do have a type of herpes that comes out in my, this is a really weird thing, comes out on the tip of my nose.
Oh, really?
It's like a cold, you get cold
under
sores.
stress.
There's 1 and 2, and the first one is cold sores, and then the second one is the downstairs herp.
I occasionally get cold sores on the lip or on the tongue, the canker sore thing.
Yeah.
But I have a thing that will, under times of duress and stress, the tip of my nose will get bright, and I'm not exaggerating, bright red. Like
Rudolph the red
it's
nose.
it's like that red nose charity thing you see every year. It gets out there. A little bit of it bubbling as we speak. I just feel it come on every now and again, a few times a year.
There's a little shade of it, I suppose.
You need to contact every woman you've been with and notify them of your herpes infestation. It's the right thing to do.
Oh, boy. But anyway, so my first thought on this is, please, I'm tired of this. There are moments when people look at me and they go like, what, you've been just hitting the gin? What's up with that nose?
The old gin blossom going.
Yeah, man. It's rough. But
I assumed you just walked into the door again.
So these viruses, of course, they stick around for life. They are dormant in nerve cells, and they reactivate down the road, depending on whichever type you have. So this is pretty good news because I'm not going to go into the weeds on it, but just know that scientists are very optimistic that they think once and for all they've got something that will truly zap it, whichever type of herpes.
Okay, so this isn't prevent it. This is cure it.
This is get rid of it. Yep,
right.
Done. Later.
That'd be a good day to hit the bar as a single person.
And then similarly, another thing like that, of course, shingles is one of those things you hear about. If you've ever had the chicken pox as a kid, you have the shingles virus in your bloodstream.
Right, so I have it in there. Because aren't you supposed to get a shingles shot?
You can get a shingles vaccination.
Shingles shot?
Yeah, I had shingles in 2001, end of 2001, early 2002.
I hear bad things.
Boy,
yeah.
I mean,
where was it on your bod?
It was on my trunk, like chest high. Started in the middle of my back, and it wrapped around the left side. It looked like somebody took a cane and pulled me off stage. Exit stage. I thought it was at first. I thought it was like a couple spider bites. I was like, oh man, this thing hurts on my back right here, and I looked at like 3 little red bumps. And then a couple days later, I was like, geez, there's a few more. And at some point it dawned on me, this is not spider bites, they're growing, there's more, and I don't have a spider in the apartment, blah blah blah. Put it together that it was shingles, went to a dermatologist. He took one look and was like, yeah, this is shingles, it's coming around your side like it does. And he gave me something, and he said, this won't knock it out, but it'll help, but it's going to take a while because you're too late to get ahead of it. And it was fun. If you think someone holding a Bic lighter up to you is fun, then it was fun. And it's not all day long. It would flash. It's just like you get these flares of just,
How long? From start to...
Oh, it was a couple weeks from when I first went. That's weird. Right. A few days in, before I knew it was shingles, there was a day when I changed my shirt like 3 times. I was like, oh, this shirt's weird. It's it's like December. I'm like, oh, it's a little thick. I need to put on just a t-shirt. And then after a while, I'm like, that hurts. It was awful. But it was like every few minutes, someone walks up with a lighter and just holds it to you.
Fun.
And you just feel it like pulse. It's what it felt. I was walking around. I would look at Rosemary, and she was, after a while, she stopped saying, how do you feel? Because I'm like, it just sucks. I'm just going to try to ignore it. And I would just look at her and go, wow. Wow. Because it was just flaring. It was awful.
Every once in a while when I end up at the doctor, usually for a severe herpes outbreak, they'll say, you don't have a shingles vaccination. You should get. I'm like, you know what? I'm in a hurry today. I need to get out of here. But I've been offered the shingles vaccination. I'm like, I'm not going to worry about it. I think next time I'm going to get the shingles vaccination.
Don't get the shingles. That's my advice.
Right.
Don't get the shingles.
Right.
I was lucky, however, because this is how it works. If I remember correctly, it is a band. You have these bands of nerves that are like, they run down your body like parallel. Like if you look at like the lines of whatever, longitude, latitude, like the equator and all the lines that go, you know, around the globe. You've just got those. So whatever band it opens up in, that's where. So David Letterman had a case that started in the back of his head, rolled around, and went over his eyes.
What?
Yeah. I mean,
like
it's
a mask.
And you can
Shingles
also get
mask.
them. You can also get them down low, and they come over your front office.
I might actually leave right now to go get the shingles because now that we're talking about it, I'm starting to itch.
Yeah, I felt real good about where I had shingles once I learned a little bit more about the shingles.
Yeah.
And the problem is too, it's like if Shakey's Pizza, like shingles sounds fun. Hey, I got the shingles. So it should be. It's like you go into a Shakey's Pizza, but they're playing death metal instead of banjo music. Hey, it's fun. We're having Shakey's.
Try the shingles with the cheese poppers.
I'm going to go to shingles, and then you get shingles. They're like, it hurts. It's just totally misnamed.
Hey, no, man, you've sold me on it. I will. Yeah, I'm convinced it sucks.
If they called them the shingles of death or pain shingles or something, it would make a lot more sense. Hey, the Rolling Stones are back on the road. Holy smokes, it's 2024 and the Stones are still out. This is the Hackney Diamonds Tour. Now, if you go see the Stones this year, you're going to hear, of course, all the most iconic hits, a bunch of deep cuts, and music from the new album, which is a very good album, Hackney Diamonds. Mm-hmm. We would love to send you, we meaning KQ, would love to send you to see the Rolling Stones. How about this? One winner will score a trip for two to Vancouver. Damn. That includes round-trip air, 2 nights in a hotel, and tickets to the show at the BC Palace on July the 5th. If you want to enter to win, text the national keyword sympathy to 95819 right now to enter for that chance. Text sympathy to 95819. Good luck with that one. We'll see if any more golfers have been arrested. Maybe this will bleed over into the NBA playoffs over the weekend. Who knows? Maybe it's a new trend.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
Hey, this is the KQ Morning Show. I'm Steve Gorman. It's Friday, May the 17th. The weekend is upon us. If you're a golf fan, you'll be tuning into the PGA Championship over the weekend. If you're a basketball fan, reminder, Game 7, or as the French would say, Game 7, is Sunday in Denver. The Minnesota Timberwolves last night with the second largest margin of victory ever by a team in a playoff game where they were facing elimination.
I've not watched 1 second of the second half of any of these games.
There's no reason. You didn't miss a thing. 45-point win last night is absolutely insane. The Minnesota Timberwolves came out with something to prove, and they proved it, which is they were better last night. Who knows what this means for Sunday? Mm-hmm. I have given up even pretending to know what to expect from Game 7.
I have so many friends that, whether it's the NFL, mostly with the NFL, it's rigged. If they wanted that game, those are the two teams they wanted in the playoffs, and it's rigged. I don't believe that for a moment, because there's just the amount of work that would have to, the people that would have to collude to rig a game.
It's harder to rig a game than not to rig a game by a huge factor.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. You just can't determine the outcome of winner. But it's stuff like this where I'm like, how could one team dominate so thoroughly? Okay, then the table is flipped and the other team is now dominating so thoroughly, and then the team that was dominating, the ex-champs, now lose by, I'm sorry, what'd you say?
45
points in a Game 6 semi-final round in the NBA. That just is unfathomable.
The Nuggets were something like 7 for 38 from behind the three-point line. Some crazy number.
Yeah.
It was just clearly, I don't think that the Nuggets, I don't think they went into the game thinking it doesn't matter because Game 7's at home. Let's just go home. No, you want to end a series as soon as you can end a series.
And they got smoked the first 2 games at home.
You got cooked. Yeah. So you've already been beaten exactly at home. So all things considered, if you win a series in 6 games, the other semifinal is going to go to 7. You get a few extra days of rest. They want to win that game last night.
Yeah, why put it in jeopardy?
And through the first half, it was a 19-point game at halftime. And then people go, well, they knew it was over. I don't think so. By the midway point of the third quarter, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they knew. Okay, we're not winning. We're just get to the end. No one get hurt. Right. Let's just do what we're doing.
That I get.
But I guarantee you, they came out of the dugout. They came out of the locker room at the beginning of the third quarter with the thought of, okay, it's 19. If we can cut it in half at the midway point of the third quarter, then this is a game. If we're 10 points or less in 6 minutes, then by God, we got a game. It didn't go that way. And then they were like, all right, screw it. Game 7 at home.
All right, let me ask you guys. I don't follow the NBA. I'm just a bandwagon. I'm on and I'm off here during this playoff run by the Timberwolves. Let me ask my two NBA fellas, buddies here. Call it. Game 7. What's happening?
That's the thing. I can't begin to imagine. I will say this. Michael Conley had a great game last night. He wasn't there in Game 5. That's why it was such an ugly game. They don't have a backup point guard worth a snot with Minnesota. So if he's healthy and he's playing well on Sunday, I can't believe I'm saying this. I kind of feel like that young, we have nothing to lose, go for it. I was very inspired last night. Anthony Edwards, during timeouts, was in his teammates' faces.
Yeah.
Don't let up. Foot on the throat. Keep your foot on the gas. Like he has really grabbed the leadership mantle in this postseason. And I swear to you, it's easier. And sometimes they're going to go to Denver. They're not going to be with their friends. They're not going to be with their family. They'll turn their phones off. It's less distracting on the road.
Okay.
You got an angry crowd. You got 13,000 people cheering against you, but the distractions are always for the home team.
All right.
I still think Denver's going to win. I just have a hard time betting against a team that just won a title and for 3 years has been the best team in the league. I'm really hopeful. And by the way, I loved coming here this morning and going, I was so wrong. I like being wrong because it means I know more than I did before.
Right.
I would love for Minnesota to win, but I'm always going to go with the defending champs at home in a Game 7 over a young team who's never been this far. But, hey, man, hope springs eternal. I'm really hoping Minnesota gets past this because I think if they do, they're not going to be stopped. If they win Sunday, whoever wins Sunday is winning the title.
All right.
I will say that much.
Just make it exciting. Make it entertaining. I love that Ant at 22 has become the alpha on the team.
Big time alpha.
Man. What did he say last night? He said, first you get the money, then you get... No, wait, that's not what he said.
That was not him.
That wasn't the quote. But no, he's fired up, and he's going to bring it. All right, so you... very passively picked the Nuggets. It didn't seem like you're going to put a lot of money on that line, Tony.
I'm going with the Wolvies.
I
like the cut of their jib.
Yeah, all right. Well, we'll see. Be a hell of a deal if they got her done.
This is a total just my brain is telling me that Game 7, the home team's going to win it, especially with the experience. But, man, I hope I'm wrong. I can't wait to come in Monday and go, tells you what I know. Let's go T-Wolves.
Yeah, right.
But you know what? To Tony's point, I just hope it's a great game. I would love to be watching this game Sunday in the fourth quarter on the edge of my seat. That hasn't happened yet in this series. Even in game, I guess, 4, it was a 9 or 10 point game, but it felt like 20 throughout the whole game. I was like, we're not coming back. We're not going to win this game. So hopefully that's not the case. Scottie Scheffler is playing his second round at the PGA Championship. As we speak, he birdied number 1. Which is amazing when you consider that he's already been arrested, put into an orange jumpsuit, processed and released all before he teed off today. Scottie Scheffler, the world's number 1 ranked golfer, in a bizarre spat with Louisville police. There was a traffic buildup. Tragedy outside the course in Louisville for the PGA Championship. A pedestrian was hit by a shuttle bus, a pedestrian who was working for one of the on-site vendors. And apparently people in Louisville say that this has always been a problem. Tournaments at Valhalla, there's no sidewalks. It's just multi-lane roads. They don't have it. This has been an accident waiting to happen.
Yeah.
And it happened today. And sadly, a man lost his life. In the aftermath, the world's number 1 ranked golfer, trying to avoid all the traffic backup, was told by cops, pull over. He was confused about what was happening. They didn't know who he was. Whether that matters or not is up to your interpretation. So anyway, they ended up arresting him. They cuffed him. They put him in a squad car. Yep. They took him downtown. They put him in an orange jumpsuit. They took his mugshot, which we've already been seeing for 2 hours.
Yeah.
The man is already on the course playing round 1, and he birdied number 1.
Right. And let's not forget, I mean, I don't know if you mentioned or not, I was sitting here looking at the mugshots, the PGA mugshot. Welcome to the club, Scotty. You've got Tiger. You've got John Daly. who needs his collar fixed on his orange jumpsuit. And then there's Scottie Scheffler. And a second-degree assault against a police officer, typically you would go to court for something like that and then make bail, and lawyers are contacted. There's a certain amount of time, but a phone call must have been made. And, he's on the course, birdieing, and he's going to play this round. It's interesting. At 4 under, he's somewhere in the top 15, I think. There's a whole mess of them after round 1, under par, rather, and he's very much in it with 3 rounds left to play. But, what a bizarre start to the day.
It's going to be...
His first quote, by the way, just very quickly, he finally quoted, he gets out to the golf course, so you can imagine every microphone stuck in his face, quoting Scottie Scheffler, "There was a big misunderstanding of what I thought I was being asked to do." All right, so it's he thought maybe all right, but anyway, there you have it.
He's being asked to play golf right now, and so far so good. He's what they call ice cold water in his veins, I should say. Going through all that and then coming out to the first hole and shooting a birdie, he's pretty good. Speaking of people not understanding what to do where police officers are concerned, an 18-year-old kid in Saskatchewan. That's up in the north. That's up in Canada,
Yep.
Check out this poor run-in with a cop. He's 18 years old. He's at McDonald's. He's in the drive-through line.
Yeah.
And he's going to redeem his McDonald's reward points for a free lunch. So he goes to the window, he places his order, and he goes, "I've got rewards. I'll show you my app when I get there." And so what he's expecting to happen is he pulls up to the window, holds up his phone. He has his McDonald's app open. There are rewards. Someone scans it and says, "Here's your food." And he goes away happy.
Works,
He goes away happy. So as he's pulling to the window at approximately, I'm going to guess, no more than 3 miles per hour, he pulls his phone out and he's opening his app as he's pulling forward. There's a motorcycle cop in the parking lot who sees him doing that.
Oh, jeez.
You can't use your phone while driving a car.
Yeah, right.
The officer rolled up behind him. "Hey, kid, come over here." Gave him a ticket for $580.
$580?
$580.
He's in the drive-through line when this happens.
Says, "I open my app every time I go to the drive-through. I've never had this issue." He's going to go to court July 31st, and he's going to fight the ticket. $580. Now, it should be stated, the police officer said, "No, I saw him using his phone before he even pulled into the parking lot."
Okay, all right.
Really? Did you waited until...
Well, that's why they have court. They'll get it all sorted out there to some degree. But if he just, in fact, used it in the drive-through lane, I think everyone can agree that's bunk. What took the cops so long to pull him over? If he entered the parking lot using his phone, why did you wait until he... All right, well, anyway. These things will get sorted out.
Let's hope so. One thing that needs to be sorted out quick. A few people are claiming Apple has a new iPhone update, and apparently the update comes with a glitch that Apple needs to fix real quick.
Great.
Okay, I mentioned this last week. Sometimes when I'm sitting, if I'm like on a plane or if I'm somewhere where I have nothing to do and I have a few minutes to kill, I will just open up my iPhone and I will go to my photos and I'll just start deleting pictures because I take a bunch of pictures
I do that too.
over the course of a day. If you hand me a business card, I'm going to take a picture of it.
Yep.
And then I'll look at that picture a week later and go, I don't need that, and I'll delete it. But I take pictures all the time.
Yep.
And then I delete them all the time, right? So the new Apple update apparently is resurrecting previously deleted photographs.
Oh, my God.
Now, if it's your business card and I've decided I don't need your business, that's one thing. But it's not just those kind of photos that people have taken and then deleted.
Good point.
Because I don't know about you, but apparently a lot of people who have iPhones have taken a lot of nudes over the years.
That's a thing,
and then decided they probably could delete them. And now they're back.
All right, before you hand it to Mom and say, "Hey, Mom, take a look at some of these pictures I took of our weekend away together," you might want to... I was thinking the same thing. I'm the guy that takes 20 pictures and will go back later and delete 19. Look for that one good shot. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. But then every once in a while I have a purge. And if they bring all those back, then it's going to be, 3 full days of deleting pictures. But... when you get into a relationship with someone new, as I have, and we've been in it for a while, one of the things you do in your phone is you go delete all the ex-girlfriends pictures. Even just the, hey, walking hand and whatever. We took a cute selfie of ourselves out at Niagara Falls. Get rid of it. You don't need it anymore. Who needs that old memory that's an X? At least shove it away in a file somewhere, but you delete those. I wonder if those will... I haven't updated my iPhone yet. I know there's a new update out there, and I'm wondering what the hell's going to pop up on there.
I don't have any. I'm not worried about any nudes. That's not an issue. What I have, if there's any photos of my body, it's like my eyelid. My cat scratched me last week, and so I take a close up to get a look at it. Like, what does that look like? Or it's like, is that a weird tick, or is that a mole I've never noticed, or a tick? I take photos like that, like, is that a pimple on my ear? It's like I got a lot of weird, those kind of selfies, which are then looked at once and deleted. Sure. But if all those come back in, then that could be kind of, that could be jarring. That could be scarring and damaging, I guess.
I have nudes of you that I'll have to delete.
Well, you have the old nudes of the exes as well that they would send you during those fun times. Those would all end up back on there again. But yeah, I'm in a relationship. We're older now. We don't go through each other's phones when the other one's not in the room.
No, that's not. I've never done that.
Oh, it's happened. It's a thing. I know this might come as a shock to you guys, but I've been in relationships where I was not trusted. That's their problem, not mine. But every once in a while, I'd be like, oh, my phone was over there. Now it's over there. I didn't touch it. What? You didn't? Wait, did you? Oof. Yeah. I was actually just looking for a cute picture of us that we took. I wanted to send it to myself, and I scrolled back through 4,000 pictures. Who's that? Who is that person? Oh, did you just accidentally find that one in there?
Wow, these things happen.
That's fun.
I have a password on a device once that was the word. It was the word Hughes followed by my birthday. And there was a time when Rosemary was like, let me get in. What's your password? I said, Hughes. And she goes, who's Hughes? Like, and I said,
like colors.
I was at the Hughes, like the name. She was like, I said, who's Hughes? And I said, which was true. I was like, I was at the Apple store and Rock the Boat by Hughes Corporation was playing. And I had to set a new password. Yeah. And so I did. And like my hint was like disco birthday, like she just looked at me and she was like, I wouldn't believe that from anybody else. And I'm like, it was like Rock the Boat. Hey, Hughes Corporation. So and then I showed her, and then I realized I misspelled Hughes because the band is Hues. I thought it was Hughe. I didn't know.
Who knows?
What an idiot.
But sorry. Almost got into trouble with that one. Not
You're
that
not
big
a cheater.
Deal.
You're just weird.
The other time, I think I told you this story once. I would send myself texts and or emails for reminders. Like, I still do that.
Sure, me too.
And I had the touring with the band for years. Our travel agent would arrange for travel before I started like doing it myself and realizing that's so much easier. I don't have to, I know when I want to get on a plane. Why am I telling someone else? I can just do this. But I sent myself a note, and it was Rosemary. We had a conversation where she was going to come to New York, and then something came up at her job, and she couldn't. And I said, "All right, well, I'll cancel that flight." And I sent myself a text, and it said SJ tickets New York. That's what that meant. But I accidentally sent it to Rosemary, and she got that right as the flight I was getting on took off. So for 2 hours, she's like, I can't reach me. And I land, and there's a text like, who are you flying? Who's SJ that's coming into New York right after I canceled my trip?
Wouldn't you like to know?
And I was like, it's Stephanie, the travel agent. She goes, her name is, it's not Jay. I go, no, her email address was SJW @ and I knew that. And I was just like, I knew what that means. And it took a minute to I was like, babe, I'm canceling. I have a flight for you. New York ticket, SJ. That means just don't forget to cancel the flight. And she's like, well, okay, I get. I mean, within a minute, she's like, sorry, I'm sorry. It's of course, but she had 2 hours to sit there and just mull it. It was like, oh, geez, that's not good.
No, that's not good. What are you gonna do? Quit looking at each other's phones. But yeah, you mistexted.
I was like, babe, we fart around each other. Come on. As we discussed.
We stick our fingers in each other's ears.
We passed our intestinal intimacy survey with flying colors. Unlike a lot of Americans, as we discussed at great length earlier on the show, if you're not farting around each other, it's not serious.
No. You
got to just let it rip. You got to get to that place. And I'm still going to stick to my theory, which is you should discuss it early on before it comes up, so it's not a shock.
Discuss what? Say, hey, I fart?
Yeah, exactly. Because you'd be. I think a lot of people are like, oh, are we gonna? Because I just hold them in. I don't know. I just. But then again. I don't know. It's been so long since I was new in a relationship, but I'm saying in the coming up of age in the 80s, I used to hold farts. I mean, that was just me.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't think she's going to get along
You
with
were
this.
a collector.
Till a certain amount of time. I know, I'll tell you this. In those relationships, when she farted, now it's on. Oh, you did that. Okay, we're doing that. Okay, great. Now let me...
it's a fair fight.
Let me rebut.
No, it's a good point that you make, that women, you do have to understand. It's a good door to open, but it's a big door.
Yeah, you're opening the door. Yeah.
You're opening a very, very, very large door.
You're not going to be able to keep up, yes.
It's exactly how that goes. Zepp, you haven't given us your pick for the Timberwolves game. Sorry, I forgot to ask you.
Well, why the hell wouldn't I go with the Timberwolves? Why not?
What a homer.
I don't know no better. Let's see what a homer. Yeah, exactly. I've been right there with them, game after game all season long. No, let's go with the Wolves, just based on Anthony Edwards' quote last night. I like his attitude. I like where he's at. I don't know like I said, I've been watching this series. I haven't watched some NBA basketball in a while, and I don't even know what sport I'm watching. It's like playing a pickup game. If Darryl Bowe's on your team, you're going to beat the other team by 20 points. If he has to go home, you're going to get beat by 20 points. That's all I know.
Good to know.
That's what I feel like I'm watching.
To your point about, you said a minute ago, you have friends who'll be like, oh, it's all rigged. It's all rigged. It's interesting to think about this series, though, because I don't think the NBA is rigging games, but I guarantee you they have a preference. Like they'd rather see,
like a game 7,
they would always rather see the Lakers and the Celtics in the finals forever. Like that's always going to get the highest ratings. Like if they, and right now you're talking about the Denver Nuggets, a defending champion with a 3-time MVP in a row. They have the best player in the world. No one questions that. And they're the best team in the league for now the 3rd straight season. Again, they would have won it 2 years ago without injuries. But they're the Denver Nuggets. They're not flashy. Jokic, the world's greatest player, is as dull as dishwater.
Yeah.
And then you've got the rising, people are throwing around the word Jordan when discussing young Anthony Edwards. That's the next guy. So who does the NBA want to see in the thing? And with USA Basketball at the Olympics this summer, Anthony Edwards, another chance for him to step up and take over and be the face of USA Basketball. It's interesting. It's like, I don't know who they would rather see. I think they probably...
On this one,
I think they probably would rather see the kid, the American-born, ahead of the Olympics, the American-born rising superstar,
baby-faced,
bring a team out of nowhere, because the Nuggets just don't move the needle nationally, the way that so many other teams do. I don't know if the Timberwolves do, but I got a feeling that Anthony Edwards is where the league would love to see him break through and become that next face of the league.
Everybody's talking about him. He's the topic on any
and he's such a personality. That's the thing too.
Yeah.
Like there's great players, but he's got the shtick. He's great in front of a microphone.
Yeah, he is.
Good. So anyway, best of luck to you, Anthony, and the Timberwolves. Hopefully we come back here on Monday and go, okay, wait, Dallas and OKC? What do we think here? Let's move on. Hope that's the case. But before we look ahead, it is important that we look back. It's May 17th. On this day in 1998, David Wells of the New York Yankees took the hill in Yankee Stadium as a pitcher against the Minnesota Twins. Years later, he would report that he was suffering from a raging, skull-rattling hangover, which was clearly the way to go because he knocked down all 27 batters he faced. That's what they call a perfect game.
Yeah.
It was the 15th ever in league history and the 2nd in Yankees history at the time.
He's thinking, let's get this over with, man. I got to get out of here.
And it's funny because the game took 2 hours and 40 minutes to complete.
Woo!
If someone throws a perfect game now, it's like an hour 40 with the new advanced times.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Back then, they were still milking the games. They didn't have the pitch clock, and so
that's
240
That was a fast game in 1998. You're I got out of there in under 3 hours, man. All right, fair enough.
Get the KQ Morning Show podcast wherever you listen. 92 KQRS.